I like one of the I was like freeze framing the reports. I like that some of them said I felt weird. Like,
Guys, I think I saw the Mothman every night of my life. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Forget We Said That. And much like the Mothman, you are all here for a disaster. That was bad. That's a bad opening. No, we'll keep it. It's good.
Befalls this podcast.
Anyway, my name is Relytan.
I'm Alyssa Riot.
And I'm Legion Lion.
And yeah, 2002 is the Mothman Prophecies. We watched it a little while ago now. Honestly, it kind of is a Christmas movie. I guess it kind of worked out, except now this is going to come out after Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. It's still the season. It's still the reason for the season. No bridge collapses so far this year, but we'll see. Is that a spoiler?
Oh, shit. No, it's good.
No. Erase history real quick so no one knows.
Well, we'll put up the spoiler warnings. No, it's all good. No, so yeah. I don't know if there's anything to like kind of touch on before we like dive into it. Any like lore? Does Legion have any lore? Behind the scenes knowledge that we should know about?
I do have a little bit.
Sure.
But let's start with our thoughts first.
Okay.
What do you guys think of the movies? Before we get into it, spoilers.
Well, I first watched this movie when it first came out back in the day, and I learned about the Mothman through my uncle and stuff like that. We were all, into horror movies and the cryptids and all that, so he had told me about it, like it was based on that book by John Keel. He wrote it in 1975, and they were based on like sightings that people had in Point Pleasant in West Virginia. So I knew that stuff going into it, and then watching the movie. Of course, as a child, I was like 11 or 12. It's pretty fucking creepy back then. And then I hadn't watched it for several years. Watched it again with you guys, and it's still pretty fucking creepy. If you turn all the lights off and really pay attention to it, it's spooky, especially when you hear him over the phone. And then I looked it up too, and the voice of the Mothman in the movie is actually the director. I didn't know that.
That's cool.
The deep lore, yes.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, God, it's so creepy.
Indrid Cold.
Yeah. Yeah, so I liked it. And obviously I've been watching stuff about it for a long time. Like there's a really good Paranormal Witness episode about this couple that has some dealings with the Mothman that's really fucking scary. Like they're in Point Pleasant and they go to like this nature reserve where they think that the Mothman lives, and they do recordings, and then you can find the recordings I think on YouTube. It's pretty fucking scary. Mothman's real.
Oh, well, okay, confirmed. Yeah, I mean, at the first watch when we had it, I think I may have seen it before, but it was probably like on TV when I was like a kid or something. But like I watched it. I wasn't sure what to think of it really. I didn't know if I loved it, but on second watch, I will say that it has got a lot of good merits. It has a lot of good moments. I'm trying to think. It's very 2002. I think it's a product of its time. They really tried with some of the special effects. I think I don't know. To a modern eye, I don't know if it holds up completely, but I do like a lot of what it did. I mean, I guess it's not that old, but I just think that like the vibe it's going for, actually it might have been a little ahead of its time. I think the vibe it's going for would work. I think it does work. Maybe I think there's a lot of movies that pull it off nowadays. I think maybe it was a little too early. Who knows? But yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff. I think it tried to do a lot with like technology and like I mean like just in the movie contextually, but also like it tried special effects. There was some of it looked goofy, although I know some of it was CGI, but some of it looked like minis, like models or whatever you call it. I think so, at least. So they tried some practical effects, which I think is pretty cool. But overall, like, not bad. Wouldn't make like the top of my lists of all time, but like honestly, I don't know. It could enter that realm of like Christmas movies of that are not really Christmassy, but like people still watch them during Christmas. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah, it's around Christmas time for them.
Right, exactly. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Presents, number 37.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I didn't really like the movie.
And the stream.
I mean, man, I love all the actors in this. Like some of like my favorite people, like watch growing up, like Richard Gere from like Pretty Woman, and Deborah from Will and Grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Laura from the Truman Show, like
Right.
like all these actors I really like, but the movie drags so
It does.
much,
It
man. He's on the I was talking to this about Aqua, like I wish I tallied how much time like either a character was in a car driving or on a phone, because
know.
it is a lot.
Some filler. There's some filler problems, I feel
Alright.
like.
Yeah.
The movie's at its best when the character, Richard Gere's character, John Klein, is just like trying to retrace his steps because he can't remember things. And I think that's like when it's like the best. Also, I think the color theory is pretty good too. Like it's very gray and like sad and miserable, but there's always splotches of red
Yeah.
to remind you what kind of movie this is. But yeah, overall, it was alright.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it. If I'm gonna lean on a side, I didn't really like it the third time watching it around.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I thought like I said, there are some parts that held up better than I originally thought it was. So, like, I went from neutral to, like, leaning, like, some pretty positively, like, you know, relatively positively. I totally get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, I think it's a childhood favorite for me. And, like, I remember watching it, and, like, all the interactions with Gordon will always creep me out. Like, the way, you know, the time
Right.
just never makes any sense, and he says he's seen him before, and it just, it's just creepy.
Like you said, I kind of what Legion said, like, it's strongest when he's actually investigating the Mothman, but he's, like,
Yes.
not for, like, a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that he isn't, but yeah, when they actually are talking about him, yeah, it's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah, or like when he went to the fireman or whatever the hell, like the old
Yeah.
fire chief, and like talking and like listening to these things, and he's like, well, I didn't hear it, or I heard it, and I changed my number, and he still called, and it was like, okay, like let's keep
Yeah.
going, and then it's like, and then he gets on the phone again, and like, but nobody answers, and like for like 10 minutes.
I always hate that. The ending kind of pisses me off too.
Really? I mean, but
we'll get there.
Yeah, right. You were like,
we'll
oh,
get there.
you pog,
Yeah.
but you know, I know what you're saying. That's I guess that's pretty good. Like first thoughts, yeah. I guess you know everybody knows where we all stand now. Now we have to defend our position.
Yes.
Cue Legion just like bagging out the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, like, I haven't been interested in a couple of movies you guys have picked.
Here we
know?
go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is the first
So-
cracks in the podcast.
But it's okay. if
Let's
you
get rid of
guys don't
Yoko
like
now.
Never liked children of men.
it. No.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, I can understand not liking that ending at least.
Yeah, it made me sad.
Yeah, it made you sad.
I liked it better because of the
Yeah, I know.
that movie was like way better because he died.
To be
in that
fair,
movie.
wouldn't you say that like that's a pretty good movie to pick when it's that like divisive? Like you got like
Yeah.
a love and a hate, and I think that's fine. I'm not here to like I don't think everybody needs to like love the same movies. Obviously, like I mean, because I get it. If it makes you sad at the end, like yeah, I don't know. Like I could see you just liking movies that make you feel a little uplifted at the end. That's a personal taste for sure.
Well, next time I'll just pick a porno. That way everyone can enjoy it.
I've
How
probably
about that?
I've probably already seen it, so it won't be new to me.
He already wrote his film analysis.
I already.
about it.
You can read my review if you want. I'll give you.
on it. Yeah.
Is it Backdoor Sluts 9?
Yeah, if I was gonna say that. Backdoor Sluts 9.
I think 8 was a little better.
Oh God.
The series started to dip when they started recasting.
That slut number 5 was. Ugh. We needed. I like the other one.
Oh God.
Okay, PG-13. We're gonna get the R rating.
Yeah.
Oh, we already did when we did their BDSM episode.
Yeah, it was already cooked for us.
We're cooked. Well,
Legion, lead us.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll guide you.
I mean-
okay,
Yeah.
first what we open up on John Klein's character. He's like in the Washington Post, and he's on his way to
right.
go to a house that they're thinking of buying. Right.
I did like the very
Yeah.
first shot where like, and maybe is this? I think there was a little bit of like, I mean, some foreshadowing when like the first shot is like the phone like screeching at him, and he's like, ah.
Like, "Ree?"
And
on the other line.
and like, and I thought it was interesting. I mean, again, there is some subtlety in the movie because he was saying like, what'd you say? Oh, that is with a Y, right? And he's writing the name Mary.
Yeah.
It's just funny because that's his wife.
Yeah,
name.
and
I know.
why would he
What
not
the
know that it ends in a Y?
clarification
So was he like saying before the movie and media prior? I don't think that's a real word. He was talking to somebody on the phone and like he asked how do you spell Mary?
I know. That was confusing. Like, I know he's, like, doodling or whatever, and then he just, like...
Kind of.
I don't know if he's just, like, thinking about her. That part was a little bit
Like
confusing.
no, because he like was redoing the Y, and so like did he
Yeah.
at first he might have put an I?
Maybe?
What does this mean? See, Legion, it's deeper than you think.
Yeah.
All right, tell me what that means.
All right, Quentin Tarantino.
The beginning shots are cool. I mean, maybe like one of the little gripes I have is like the amount of like Mothman imagery.
There was
goes
like a lot of
nuts.
like shots of like almost or
Right,
like almost
of
stock,
wings
yeah,
or, like lights,
oh,
right, and stuff like that.
Because yeah, I'm thinking like right before the first like shot, there was like a lot of like there's like a what do you call it, a montage of like different things, and yeah, like I don't know, yeah, they really tried to lean into like, oh, doesn't that look like a moth?
Oh man, let's say called. And we also get that John Klein is a barely well-respected reporter because his boss wants him to like stay for the Christmas party because he's the star reporter guy. He solves everything, and I guess it's like during the time of like an election.
Yeah,
Not quite sure what election,
Well,
if it was presidency
I
or
think
governor or something
this
like that.
came out in 2002, so maybe and they did mention so the movie came out in 2002, and I think during one of the stock things they had, it said something about the 2004 election. So I think it's in the future of the movie when it came out. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, you know, I don't think it really meant that much, but yeah. And yeah, that's also interesting because he really loses the goodwill of his boss like instantly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, he's gone for like 2 days, and I guess he has to go interview governor of well, I have it on my notes, Richmond, Virginia. Right. So, but then he doesn't really make it there.
Yeah.
But like
Well, he makes
instantly
it to
his boss
Virginia,
is on his
that's
ass.
for
What'd you say?
He makes it to Virginia, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
little west of Virginia. What would you call that? There should be another state west of Virginia called something, but I don't know what you'd say.
But yeah, that beginning scene's funny because then they like pan over like I guess their current house or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like a shot of Deborah Messing, and it has her name in the like intro segment, and she's like bathing in the shower. But then it pans over to like the picture of her in her bathing suit. Like anyone who's listening, keep in mind this photo is important because it shows up all the time in
Yes.
this movie. It's just a side profile of Deborah Messing like poolside with her bathing suit, smiling at the camera.
Yeah.
You'll never
They
see the
love
end
It's
of
the
that
only
photo.
it. Yeah.
Yep. And it's the only one he owns. There's no other ones with like them together or
Yes.
whatever.
Where's
It's
the?
just her.
Yeah. Wait.
just
Yeah. Like,
her.
where's the wedding photo? Am I insane?
I know. It's just that one, and then the one in his wallet that he shows Connie later.
Right. And I feel like those might be the same like technical photo, not the same exact photograph. Or are they? I feel like are they the same like shot, or are they
No, I
slightly
don't think
different?
so. They're
Okay.
different.
So there might be
Yeah.
two, but still two's still a small number for your wife.
Yeah.
It's like a Eldritch horror movie. It's like his wife never existed. He's just
That's what
dreaming
it
all of
fucking
this stuff.
feels like too, because when he's trying to call her, she's in the shower. Like, it seems like she's unreachable all of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
How would-
it was weird.
I
She's got to film another show. That's why.
She's not
Right.
real.
I personally I have hundreds of photos of my future wife.
Yeah.
On a day of Mars lines my walls. You gotta manifest it. Just manifest it for yourself.
She will have red hair and green eyes.
That does happen. She's like, red hair and green eyes. We'll get to it.
Yeah. When they, so when he finally does meet up with the realtor after work, it's nighttime. He's with Grace from Will and Grace, and they're in the house screwing around. If you notice, too, in the closet, when they turn on or off the light, there is a moth flying around the light bulb. Ooh, I wrote that down.
She's like, this will kill. This will knock him dead.
It's going to kill in the podcast. I was like, why did I never pay attention to that before? There's a moth literally on the light bulb.
It is. I think when you hear the Mothman Prophecies, you're actually not really thinking of moths, but then they really put that imagery in there.
Everywhere.
A shadow. I'm like, look, I can
They
do
do.
what
They're like
Lynch
maybe
does.
slightly ham-fisted with it. I mean, I know what they're going for, and it's like, okay, I kind of like it, but they're almost like trying to be subtle, but they're kind of not being subtle, which I can kind of appreciate to some degree, but also it does get like maybe a little bit obnoxious.
The Mothman's theatrical.
Yeah.
He wants to be known.
It's like not the Mothman Prophecy. It's like the Mothman right in front of your face.
It's so crazy because they're in Washington when this happens, right? So they're not in Point Pleasant. It's just crazy how that. What does that have to do with him?
We'll get to it, I
but
think. Yeah,
I will be breaking down the amount of miles that John Klein
I was going to
drove
say
in this
that's one thing I forgot to
'Cause
look at is how
I
far.
haven't calculated.
and weren't gas prices crazy in like 2002? Like, come on, guys. I mean,
Yeah,
for
they
the,
are now.
I
I
wasn't
mean, I
driving,
know,
so I don't know.
not adjusting for inflation, but it was like, I don't know, whatever. I'm just saying it was right after the 9/11, so like I feel like things were fluctuating a lot.
So from Richmond to Point Pleasant. Yeah, I mean, because Connie says, oh, I booked you a flight. I'm like, bitch, that's flying distance. Like, okay.
Go from where he's at to Virginia is 6 hours, 441 miles.
And he made it there in 2 hours somehow. So here's the thing. Well, maybe this isn't the
He
best.
teleported,
He teleported.
obviously.
Yeah, maybe this isn't the best place to say it, but yeah, like so at least I mean the Mothman's supposed to be someone who like knows when people are gonna or like things are gonna happen, right? Or we don't really know the details, but like apparently he knew, and that's kind of what I think. He just knew that Deborah Messing had a tumor in her brain, and like so that kind of all manifested. So like so he didn't really cause it, but like he knew it was happening. So then, but he caused the car crash. So that kind of at least made them aware that she was about to die. And then I guess 2 years later, I don't know. Then 2 years later, Mothman transports Richard Gere to Point Pleasant, which is not that far away. I guess he's like still in West Virginia. So I mean, it's not like he went like across the country necessarily, but it was like it was apparently a 2-hour drive because he left at 1. He left DC at 1 in the morning, and he got to the Point Pleasant at like 2:30.
Yeah, he was speeding, man.
Well, he said, I thought he said
was
that even if he
speeding.
was doing 80, he couldn't even make it to Point Pleasant in 6 hours.
Yeah.
So he obviously it was paranormal, spooky.
The Mothman picked him.
Yeah,
picked up his
like
car.
I got you in my
Even
little
the
moth
Mothman
hands.
Yeah, he was like, this guy's going to be driving the whole movie. I got to speed up
Dude,
the process.
yeah, he saved us because otherwise this would be like a 5-hour movie.
It's just a podcast.
where he's like looking at things
Richard
every like
Gere.
for 6 hours. It's like looking in like red glow, and that's just like the whole movie for most of it. If the Mothman didn't pick him up and transport him,
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense why the Mothman
Well-
is where they are, but
I think
After-
the Mothman just wanted to know what would happen if he just transported him to Point Pleasant. He's just like, let him do
Yeah.
this crazy thing. It'll be fun.
Put him on
Right.
a side quest real
Because like
quick
he already
and see
knew
what happened.
because that's just it. Because like he saw the Mothman. I think maybe that's it. Like he saw the Mothman entered his wife. Okay, this is weird. The Mothman
Oh,
was
no.
like in her brain.
That's why she left.
So like this is what the writer later said. The Mothman is in her but then like
Is in her?
but then like once you see the Mothman, then you keep seeing him. So
Yes.
So the Mothman, I still don't know why. So like he was drawn to Point Pleasant because that's the next place the Mothman was making like huge waves, right?
Yeah.
So like
making waves
he was
in
like
the
he
community.
was like number one. He made the most viral TikTok in Point Pleasant.
Yeah, they put him in the parade.
Yeah.
For winning all state that year.
He won the homecoming king and everything. So I guess once again maybe this doesn't make sense, but so he was like maybe he was drawn to Point Pleasant in a paranormal way, and then things popped off.
Okay. All right. So they look at the house. They decide they're gonna buy it. They get
because they bang it in the closet, so they have to.
They mark their territory.
Yes.
They were fucking in the closet, and the guy opens the door. Why would you open the door,
dude? Why is the realtor so concerned?
Dude, why didn't the moth let them finish, man?
Yeah, and he's like,
the moth doesn't
"You
let
can
anybody
have
finish.
this house, but you have to decide right now." Why the fuck?
Right now.
And see that's another thing too. That's weird. Is like he was so adamant about them putting money down on this house. Like the person that left was like, "Take this house." So maybe the Mothman had something to do with the house, because like why did he need to sell it?
You're
so
right.
Fucking
Controls
fast?
the real estate
Actually,
business.
Yeah,
He's a realtor. Mothman's a
right.
realtor.
You know what? A murder house subplot would have been great for this movie.
He's like, please
The
just buy
last
this house right
family.
now. Say you'll sign it.
The last
It's like-
family said they were saw red everywhere, and they were always on the phone,
They were always on the
and they were driving
They ran up the
everywhere.
phone bill.
There's no landlines. It's all ripped out of the wall. He's like,
They
don't
have
worry.
there's a bunch of receipts for gas everywhere.
Yeah.
He just circles their house like red lights just all around.
We
just
could,
keeps going
we
like
could
the
call
police are
Pacific
patrolling.
Bell in the morning and get it hooked up. It's fine. Just sign it.
Sign it. That would be good. All right, let's rewrite this movie, guys. All right.
Yes. Yeah. So then, fucking Mary and John, John, they get in their car. Well, Mary decides she wants to drive. Mind you, it's snowing outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's nighttime. They're in a residential neighborhood. She's like, you know what? Let's go so
I'm gonna
fast.
do 40.
Let's go so fast.
Isn't
for no
it
fucking
exciting
reason.
that we got a house? Let's speed.
Thanks for making me orgasm in that cool closet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna risk our
It was
lives.
so hot when he opened that door, and the moths were falling from the light.
Yeah, no foreshadowing. So they go speeding and careening down the street, and then it's a roadblock sign, right? The two red lights, and only she sees it. And that's the first time we see the Mothman, and it's actually pretty creepy.
He just reads in front of the camera.
I fucking
Like
I
a
used
clip
to
art.
have my uncle pause it all the time. I'd be like, I want to see his face, but it was always blurry. You can never really see
She was trying to enhance CSI that shit like as a kid.
it. In 2002, I was like, zoom in. Like,
I need to know.
yeah, it was never clear, but she sees it, slams her head on the window, goes to the doctor, and then they find out she has, what is it, glioblastoma?
I like how you said that.
Glioblastoma.
I forget how it is. So it has nothing to do with the car wreck, but because of it, and they were able to do a brain scan, and then they found this inoperable brain tumor. And I hate leading this because this is Legion's job. But
No, you're doing actually pretty well. This is
thank
good.
you.
I wanted to say, like, as far as like the Mothman, I slowed it down. He kind of looks like a vampire.
He
not
does.
gonna lie.
He does. He looks. They kind of give him like a
He has like red
Nosferatu face.
eyes. I know, and his like face is very like angular, like he has like defined cheekbones and stuff like that. And he's like Naruto running into the car.
Yeah, he
When you
looks like
first
the
see him.
Tesla symbol with a mask on.
He does. Also, he left like a burn mark, so I guess he does that when he hits things. I guess he's burning hot, that Mothman.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
on the
when-
tree and on the car, yeah.
Yeah, like there's like bubble marks, like
And
where
he
there'd
does
be
that,
scorching
too.
and stuff like that.
The people that he does like sneak up on, like, bleh, like their eyes turn red. They're like bloodshot. They're
Oh, right.
like, marked.
I didn't
And
notice
once
that the first time. Their eyes swell up. It's like
yeah, they swell
what?
up, and if you're marked, that means you're fucked.
I
Like,
have
you're
some
gonna
theories.
die.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, because all the people that he marked, like
Fuck.
that teenage guy, that little boy, they were all the ones that died when the bridge collapsed. It was all the people he had marked
True.
before.
Yeah, I mean, I did notice that, but I also didn't.
Yeah.
So just close your eyes if
So
you
just close your eyes.
if you
He's like,
suspect
"I
moth
don't
people in your
see
presence.
you, Mothman."
Blocking out the haters.
I can't even see you right now.
Blocking out the prophecies.
Exactly. Yeah, because like for anyone that doesn't know, like the Mothman is he's supposed to be the harbinger of doom. Like he's like everyone's fear. He's like the dark shadow. I don't know. He's like you see him, it's like a bad omen. But it seems like he goes after some people. Like if you accidentally see him, like he's like, no, well, now you got to die. Yeah.
Now you gotta see the future.
Now you gotta see the
go.
future. Yeah, unless you're fucking John. For
Yeah,
some
how did
reason.
John? Yeah, well, I don't think he ever saw him. To be fair,
He
talked to
technically
him.
never saw him.
Yeah.
He looked at his wife when she was about to hit the Mothman, and I think he was like, "Oh, you almost hit me with your car. You're gonna die, you bitch. Now you have a brain tumor."
Right. Well,
Tumor
he entered her.
Tumor for you.
Yep. Interesting. I guess that's kind of it's starting to sell me actually even more now. But whatever.
Yeah. And then I forget what scene happens after
okay.
that.
Well,
We wake up in the hospital now.
Yes.
Mary kind of jolts awake. Like she whispers nothing. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Right.
She whispers nothing. Like she was in mid conversation before she woke up.
it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever been asleep and then you all of a sudden wake up and you remember everything that happened when you were sleeping, but you didn't react until right now? And and it feels like 300 things happen right when you wake up. That's happened to me before. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened.
We have tumors, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, maybe. It's just one of those things where it's you hear something, you're and then you're like, oh shit, but that didn't just happen. I don't know.
I've woken up talking before. I was speaking in my dream, and then I woke up and I was finishing what I was saying.
Yeah, I've done that.
As long as you don't yell it, I'd feel like that's grounds for possession or some shit.
I have one time I was yelling at something in my dream to go away. I was like, get off, go away.
No, that's
I
the
don't
worst.
know you.
That's for sure haunted ass
You're
behavior.
a haunted.
Yeah.
You're living in a haunted ass house.
I sat up. I was all, get out. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? Probably fine. Probably nothing.
Check the corners. Turn on all the lights.
It was not
Burn
a
some
Mothman.
sage.
I had my eyes closed.
I had my eyes.
Dude, that's why dreams. That's why you can't get you in your dreams because you have your eyes closed. Whoa.
Yep. Let your dreams be dreams, guys.
That's
Alright.
sage advice.
Yeah.
But then we get Mary's infamous line. You didn't see it.
He's like, see what, babe?
See what? If anybody asks you
I
that,
saw
just
your
say
bad
you
driving,
did.
girl.
Yeah, I saw
I see you wrecked my car.
Yeah,
I see you speeding when I didn't want you to, and you slammed your head on my
I
window.
saw that sign that said
Leave the speeding to me. I know how to get to states
dude,
fast.
yeah.
I'll do the speeding.
Yeah, that was almost a taunt. There you go. There's another parallel. The Mothman's remember when I killed your wife for speeding? Take a 2 hour or a 6 hour drive
Can
in
happen
2 seconds in 2 hours,
Yeah. Who speeds
Let me.
in the snow?
Mothman's the best Uber driver.
dude.
Yeah. That was a trip. When we moved into this house, I wasn't like, I want to speed now. What the fuck?
Right.
Especially if the snows or if the streets were full of snow and ice, I would be like,
Yeah,
let's
Washington, and that's
put
Washington
cars on the
D.C.,
street.
not California.
Yeah, exactly. That's
But it's funny. They're doing the classic what every movie does when people aren't paying attention to the road. They're laughing
Yeah, they're just dude. It did
It's
become
funny
such a
because-
cliche. Didn't Family Guy do a skit on that or something? Like nobody's looking at anything and they just keep driving for
It reminded me of that movie. I think it's with Nicolas Cage, City of Angels. Where he's an angel, and then he falls in love with a human lady, but she's riding a bike downhill, and she closes her eyes and has her arms open I'm so free, I love life, and then a car hits her, and I'm like, why the fuck on a mountain road?
It basically
She pulled a Sons of Anarchy, basically. She
Yeah,
let the bike
yeah.
go into the semi-truck.
I was like, what? Everything's great right now, so risk it all? I don't understand that.
Yeah. We bought a house. Time to
To have the
use
Tokyo
that gasoline.
Just-
Boom.
it's scuffed Ryan Gosling. Nobody can drive like him.
That's right.
Well, he's very serious. He's not laughing at all. He's smoldering.
Yeah.
You have to
80
smolder.
down the
You'll be
highway.
safe if you
Yeah. He's locked in, basically.
Smolder.
You have to smolder.
Yes.
What was it? Oh yeah, and Mary's what's it called? Her brain scan shows the tumor in the shape of a moth.
Foreshadowing.
Oh my God.
more like
What is
five shadowing.
He's in
I
you.
I feel like if they didn't add the effects to every time they had a moth reference, it would have been
It
fine.
could have been
Yeah.
it could have
But,
been a little
like-
more clever, but it was
but
like
no,
clip
it has
art.
to have been the shape comes out and then like it lights
Yeah.
up and then goes towards the
Yeah.
camera. Like, okay.
Yeah, right.
They did the best they could with what they had, Legion.
I don't know. It would have been really cool if it was just subtle.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just the
So
image
I
and
definitely
then
agree with that. They really beat you
But-
over the head with
yeah.
a lot of the imagery, and it's like, okay, Mothman, I get it. It's in the fucking
It's what
title of
Aqua
the
says.
movie.
Very 2000s, right?
Like they could have called it like,
Like,
the spooky prophecies, and then like had moth imagery, and like that would
Friday
cool.
the 13th.
But like it's a Mothman. See all the moth shapes in the moth everything. It's like, I see it.
It's so funny too because like people call it the Mothman, but like the actual sightings from like back in the day, they say that he's more
Bird, angel,
bird-like.
butterfly, something like that. Yeah, I know what
bird
you
and
mean.
man-like.
I mean, I've heard a lot of descriptions of at least some of these like cryptid sightings. And yeah, moth, yes, but yeah, I know it is kind of. They really took the moth and ran with it.
Yeah, they did.
Should have mothballed the movie.
All right, where are we at?
I mean, like, so yeah. Well, you go ahead. I mean, I was gonna say that she dies. That's all I wanted to say.
wow.
I mean, I wasn't
you
laughing
blew
at
it.
her, but
Yeah, she does. Well, I mean, he goes back, right? He goes back
Well,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, he goes back to the site where the accident happened, and then he realizes that like the lights could have been like the construction like down the
Yeah.
road, and that's where he also finds like the damage on the
Okay,
car.
yeah, that's
when
I
that
guess
comes
I
up.
guess he did not look at his car before then.
I know.
but yeah, it's a moth shape, and then it looks like it got like welded on, not welded on, but like blowtorched
Yeah.
on. So it's like all
Yeah.
the burn marks
Some
and like
damage.
ashy bits. It's like they hit like a I don't know.
Yeah.
They hit like a smelting plant or some shit.
He was like, "What the fart is
Well,
this?"
well, it's probably
And
the same
he's
thing.
like, the insurance is not gonna cover this.
Here's my crackpot. My crackpot theory is like he's radioactive, right? It makes people's eyes bleed. Like, you know what I mean? It like burns into things. I think he
Bro,
might be a radioactive moth.
I think he's an alien. That would
That's not-
explain
that
all
doesn't-
of the missing time.
Okay,
That's actually the
Yeah.
the theory.
that's
actually,
kind of
behind
related.
the Mothman.
Yeah, that doesn't negate what I say. Yeah, I'm a radioactive alien moth.
I think it's God. All your arguments are invalid now.
No, I think he's moth god. He lives
We'll
in
have
the
Eminem do like a cover of that.
big lamp
Moth
in the
God.
sky.
The moon.
Yeah, why isn't Mothman just like really attracted to the sun, and he's always just trying to go up to it?
yeah.
Well,
That's true.
That's why he only talks to people at night, because during the day he's just trying to get to the
It's too
sun.
much. Yeah. He can't
But at
handle
night
it.
he forgets. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna haunt some people with spooky phone
Oh,
calls.
that's true. That's why he went after her car lights. Maybe she had the first
Mm-hmm.
LED headlights. Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
He's like, oh, oh, boom.
So anyway,
So anyway, what was it? Where Mary dies? Yeah, she dies.
Yeah, I guess I feel like but or does she?
she does not survive the terminal brain tumor.
I guess we will never see her in the movie again. She won't be walking around or anything.
So you thought.
It's funny though. Like my favorite thing about this scene is that when John goes through her like notes.
I was
And
about
then the
to say
nurse
this
is
is my
leaning
favorite
in the
scene.
doorway.
It's my favorite scene. We
Okay.
all laughed at this when it happened.
Yeah.
This is,
Angels.
and yeah, it'll become the funniest callback when the nurse. But yeah, like the nurse is like, she knew, you know. And John's like, what? It's like, she knew. She was drawing angels. And then like John like flips to the book, and then there's like kind of like a figure, and then like the shading of the picture starts getting darker, and there's more red.
It's
I'm like, this,
terrifying.
Dude, and then
this fucking stupid
it turns
nurse.
into, like-
this is what the fucking
It
angel
turns into
is.
body horror, the most fucked up drawings you've ever seen in your life. And the dude's
Yeah.
like, it was Angel. It's like, what?
Right.
And he's all leaning.
Starting to look-
Yeah, he's like, dude, he's like leaning seductively on the door.
She
A
was
very
drawing
very
angels.
interesting door frame. Oh, what a
Yeah.
that door frame will be important later.
Yes.
It's the funniest callback I've ever
Dude,
seen.
no, I was
but
about to say
like,
this is my favorite scene because we were laughing so hard at it.
Of all the things.
Yes.
Why was that so important? Yes. That's what I love about old scary movies. They're so
It's not even that
corny.
old. Oh.
Like,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah,
corny.
they're older. It's older. But yeah, it's,
Slightly.
Yeah, it's just so corny. Like, Amara and I watched Shadow of the Vampire the other day, and I had to pause it a bunch of times because I was laughing. Like, of course, when I was a kid, yeah, it's scary. There's some creepy parts, but I remember watching it with my uncle. I watched all these movies with my uncle, and he would pause it and, like, act out the scene, and I would fucking cry laughing. Willem Dafoe does such a good job as Nosferatu in Shadow of the Vampire, and we were just dying laughing. But this is one of those movies, too, that we would make fun of, because I do remember the nurse, and I was like, oh my, why? But anyway.
Yeah, we'll get back to it.
she's
I mean, hopefully anybody listening to this probably saw the movie because holy crap.
Right, because it's funny, dude. I'll
do need to watch
timestamp it in the description.
Yeah, that's a good one.
if anyone's watching this. But yeah, she draws like dark figurines. Honestly, some of them look like Batman. That's just my own bias there.
do.
But
They look
some
like
of
Legion's
them,
tattoos.
It's just Batman. Like that's what she saw that night was Batman.
I heard him say justice.
There's like yeah, there's justice. There's like one page that just has ruin scribbled all over it. Just says ruin.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't actually
So, I don't know, maybe
freeze
she-
frame. I didn't go that deep.
Yeah, so maybe she actually has like she maybe saw some visions too before she passed. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, yeah, it would make sense. Like she got because she had the eye thing too, right? I mean, that was part of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She did.
So she was definitely, because so did small cock. Oh, I mean Smallwood. And he
Very
did his own
unfortunate name.
illustrations too. They were almost as creepy. He's like, I
Yeah.
didn't draw
Yeah,
that,
it's
and
almost
they're like the coolest little drawings ever.
I don't know how to draw.
I'd be like, I drew
said
it.
I did.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, I did. Do anybody
did
want to
that.
hire me?
Yeah. I had those pastels sitting around.
Yeah, I know, right? They were like really colorful. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like my grease paint, my charcoal. Just had to shade in a little bit there and a little bit there.
There's no reason why Mothman can't slay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Basically, after she dies, it pretty much immediately cuts to 2 years later. I think.
I wrote down nurse in hallway real question
Dude, maybe not. Dude, I just my notes just say scene with the nurse.
Yeah.
John retraces his steps, right?
Yes.
Or not retraces. He takes a drive.
Yeah.
And then his car breaks down
Well-
in front of like someone's house, who we later figure out is Gordon Smallwood.
Right,
Right.
but like I say, yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, that was like 2 years later because he has to go to Richmond, Virginia. Right, this is when that happens, right? Yeah.
Well, he loses track of time, so.
Well, yeah, but
Well, yeah,
like-
2 years
like-
later, after his wife dies, that's when he's, like, taking a trip.
yeah, because he said my
Yeah.
wife. Yeah, so I'm just saying there was a 2 year gap.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And
There's
then
a 2-year gap.
but the
for some
reason,
reason.
because he was at work and he was saying, "Oh, I got to go interview the mayor of Richmond, Virginia tomorrow," and someone's like,
Right.
"You don't have to do that." Because his friend was trying to set him up with Gwen.
Right.
Yeah, and so like he's like
Gwen Stacy.
He's like, maybe I'll make it to the date with Gwen, but then he's like, then he calls on the road. He's like, I'm going to Richmond now. But then and then he ends up, and this is when he ends up in Point Pleasant, and yeah, that should have taken 6 hours to get to Point Pleasant, but it only took him 2. And yeah, so he shows up to Small
Yeah,
Cock's
that's the
house.
crazy part, because yeah, like he goes into Gordon's house and then he's like, "Oh, I need to borrow your phone. My phone broke down." And then Gordon like pulls him in like with a shotgun to him and like semi kidnaps him.
He's like, he's back.
Yeah, claiming he'd been there twice. So he like drove 6 hours twice.
Well,
He's like, girl, I did not do
twice
that.
before, 3 times actually now.
but did
That's
you
crazy.
You did catch though that Gordon's wife never saw.
Yes,
Greer.
she says she heard the knocking, but she
Yeah.
never saw who was at the door.
So I have a feeling it was Richard Moth. Man, okay, I thought I had a pun. I thought I could think of a pun, but I couldn't. Or John Klein Moth. Nope, that didn't work either. Moth Klein.
Yeah, always visiting at 2:30 a.m., which is fucking annoying, and I would definitely hold someone at gunpoint after the third time, because fuck you for waking me up this early.
I guess so. I'd probably still be
I
awake.
do not answer my door.
But
yeah, you would be
2:30 in the
awake.
morning.
But you're right. No, but I would still get like
Like-
even if I hear like a doorbell at like 10 p.m. or something, which occasionally happens even on not Halloween nights. I think we've been ding dong ditched more than a few times at this house. But like I've
Just
like
imagining Aqua running down the street in his underwear. You damn kids!
You damn kids.
but like yeah, so like even when like a doorbell goes off like at 10 p.m. it's just like you get like nervous. You're like, I do not want to like, I don't know. But then again, if anybody had bad intentions, why would they ring the doorbell?
Yeah.
Maybe
True.
that's their
I
approach.
don't know, unless it's like the strangers, right, where they have to like scare you before they kill you.
Oh,
Right.
They're like, what they say, like, who is this person home? And then they would just,
Right.
and then they would come back afterwards.
And or if it's the night of the purge, that's also a bad night to open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, no, that's when you welcome all the trick or treaters, and you just shoot them when they come to the door.
Where are we at? Okay, Gordon's house. He says he saw John 3 times. That's when we meet Connie, the sheriff? Is she the sheriff? Yeah, and she's like, calm down, Gordon, put down the gun. You can't do that. And, you know, I think he's able to convince her, like, yo, bitch, I was not here 2 more times. Like, I'm from the press. I live this far away. Like, I have not been here. And she tells Gordon to cool it. And then I'm not sure what happens after that.
Yeah, she's like, Washington Post? And all 3 of them like look at him like skeptically just because that's just funny because he's
Yeah.
like a political commentator. I do like the voices you make for Alyssa. That was funny.
Yeah.
That's her small town voice.
Yeah. Oh, she takes him to a hotel, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, unless you want to sleep in your car, I'm gonna take you to a hotel.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And the next morning, he takes it to the mechanic to see if what was wrong, and the guy's like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. Got a whole bunch of mileage on it, though."
Yeah.
And shout out to the mechanic. He said nothing is wrong, and he didn't charge John anything.
Ethical,
didn't-
the last ethical mechanic.
I was expecting him to say something like, when he was like, oh, how much do I owe you, for him to be like, how much you got, you know? Like,
But they're small people, dude. How many times does the sheriff say like they're all good people here, good
They're all
Christian
good.
people? They don't wouldn't hurt a fly,
folks.
wouldn't hurt a moth.
There's no black people here, though.
I know, right? Did anybody notice?
Well, that's because they know better. They're not staying in that spooky ass town.
But hell no, we're leaving. Moth. Get the fuck outta
One
here.
thing really funny about this scene is that as John is like, I don't know, probably gonna go to get his breakfast or something for the morning, he sees Gordon like walking out of a paint shop, right? And he wants to like flag him down to apologize, right? And he gets like 2 inches away from Gordon's face.
There's a
He does.
few
He's
of
like,
these.
he's
moments.
like, I'm sorry, I lost track of time. I didn't know where I was, but he's like super close, like they're almost kissing at that point.
I know.
Like it made.
I don't know why.
It makes some sense with Connie or whatever because there was tension there. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
by the end they were like together, weren't they? But like, but yeah, you got really close to small cock. It was like what?
He did.
Why?
I'm like, Mr. Gear, I could smell everything you've eaten today. Can you please
And, like,
back it up a
It
little
could
bit?
it could make thematic sense, but I don't see where it fits in with the thematic. Like does that
Like,
represent
who's
the
listening
closeness
to their
of the moth?
conversation?
It like represents that they're closer than a phone call could ever be. Like I don't know. I'm stretching for a metaphor.
I think he's close because he doesn't want to embarrass him and make him, you know, sound crazy for that, you know.
Dude,
and
he still got
he's
insecure about
embarrassed.
it. He's like, I'm not crazy, right? I'm not crazy, right?
I know he says it the whole time. I'm not crazy. He's like, sure.
It's like, first off, take a breath mint and then talk
Yeah.
at a safe distance.
Close
2 feet
talkers.
apart, people.
That's
Right?
too much.
Yeah, another 18 years, they're going to be needing to practice, like, just getting a little bit further away.
Yeah. But what does
I don't know
Gordon
why
tell
I
him?
couldn't-
He's like, hey, sorry about that. Wasn't me. But what does Gordon tell him in that one? I thought he tells him something different. He's like, oh.
I don't know, just that. What's it called? Like we're simple folk, you know. It's like we don't need people.
Oh
coming
no,
around.
that's when he told them that. Didn't he say? Was that? No, that was later. That was later, like when they're in the shop. Never mind. That's when he tells them that it's like that I heard that there's 99 people in Colorado who are gonna die or something like that. Remember that? That's when he gave them that little drawing too that he said because he heard the voices from the drain.
Yeah, I heard voices from the drain. I was like, Pennywise, no.
Yeah, right. Which isn't too much longer.
They're fighting over territory. Mothman and Pennywise.
In terms of plot, I don't think that's too much in the future. But yeah, I don't know what else he said there, but it probably wasn't that important, right?
Because he wasn't talking about prophecies just yet. He was just saying like, hey, I don't want any trouble. You know, just keep your distance.
Just
like right now.
Reiterated that he wasn't
You're
crazy.
2 inches away from my face.
Yeah. People are watching us.
they're gonna question.
Or he's
us
like,
and
that
we're
makes
gonna
us
kicked out of
both
We're gonna
crazy.
run out of town.
Or I think if he said something like that makes us both crazy, right? Like, because like Greer said something about how he saw his wife or whatever, like with the moth or whatever. So he's like, we're both crazy down here.
And then I believe John goes to Connie to just like get like brushed up on like the reports of like the Mothman, right? I like one of the I was like freeze framing the reports. I like that some of them said I felt weird. Like
guys, I think I saw the Mothman every night of my life.
Or like a strange feeling. Other times it said like, oh, like red eyes or like a moth-like appearance, of course. But I love the description. I'm feeling weird.
I feel my stomach hurts. Like, oh, the cats are freaking out. Let me let them out. Hold on. Go ahead.
And then we get of course what Alyssa mentioned. We got the description of people's like eye vessels like bursting right on like one of their eyes, and a little bit of like burn marks on the side of their eyes too.
Yeah, they swell up.
Which, apparently apparently it doesn't heal according to one of the characters in the movie.
Right, the boy. Once again, the other theme that I was going to mention earlier is that this Mothman never likes to see people doing the.
They don't like banging.
The beast with two backs, you know. He can't stand it.
It.
Whether it's in a closet, whether it's in a car. Maybe he just doesn't like when people get busy in like a confined space.
Yeah.
He doesn't like risky behaviors.
Yeah.
He's risk averse.
He's a good Christian Mothman.
Yeah, because they do it in the closet and then drive really fast down the road, and he was like, whoa, slow down. Yeah. And the other ones, they were having premarital sex in the middle of nowhere, and he was like, hey guys, that's not Christian.
Not in my rock quarry.
Not in my
rock quarry.
Mothcraft server.
Exactly. So he was like, now you're getting the mark right in your eyeball. How
right?
do you like
well,
that?
only one of you. Only the man.
Only one.
Which is a little sexist, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But
it's true.
Yeah. She's just as guilty. I guess the punishment is that your fiance's dead. Anyway, that's at the end.
Yeah, the punishment is death for having sex.
Yeah.
Before marriage. They're interviewing one lady, the one like her like face is all over all the promotions of the movie, like the trailers and like the imagery poster, like her face is
homely looking lady. I don't know what you'd say. What's a polite way of saying this?
But she has like the soy face and all the promotion as she's like looking at the Mothman. It's so funny because like they had like that scene where she like sees him like flying like past her house.
Yeah.
Like they put like filters on there. And it makes her look like 20 years older.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what I'm.
She looks like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they accentuate her wrinkles. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
She has like this like horrified look on her face because she can't explain what happens. But then when they like go to meet her at her house, she looks completely normal.
Yeah, she does
the
look a little
filters
better.
they use for that scene just make her look so.
That's when that's
like a skeleton,
right? And she's like,
up.
he was standing right there, and there was like a Mothman shaped burn mark on the tree, which makes a little more
so
sense.
I guess he hit the tree.
Dude,
too.
yeah, right. He's like, oh.
He's not a great flyer, but
that tree came out of nowhere.
But that tree was parked there.
Yeah.
It was speeding. Maybe there's a light on the tree. There was like a little, like she had one of those little solar powered lights.
It was the Christmas lights.
Yeah, the Christmas light.
The season was coming
one
up.
of those spotlights they put on, right into the tree.
Maybe he thinks it's other moths, and he's trying to like get to know the other Mothmen in the area.
Yeah, he's trying to create a swarm.
The moths. Well, yeah. If there's multiple of him, then he doesn't have to do his job all the time. You know,
He had the.
traveling the world, telling people.
He's trying to find a
things
moth
that's gonna
girlfriend.
happen.
He does. He misunderstood the meaning of a mating call. He's trying to call everybody on their phone.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is before he discovered how cellular devices worked, and then after
Dude,
that,
yeah,
he
he
just ran
did
with
such
it
a-
for the rest of the movie.
This is why it's bullshit. Because it's like if he could communicate through phones, then he could have everybody. He could talk to everybody now. He like I don't know. Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah, he doesn't have to make an
He
appearance.
just needs
He
to.
just calls it
he
in.
just needs to have a Twitter account. He can make all sorts of crazy predictions.
It's true.
It's true. He just tweets. it.
She's like, hey,
He's like, yo, guys.
something crazy is gonna happen tomorrow.
At least he's
Here's
trying
the
to
tea.
tell somebody about it.
Right.
And he tells the people that can do nothing about it.
Well,
Yeah.
wait.
Also, he tells them like the day before.
Wait a
I know,
minute.
he gives them no time to prepare. And he tells people that no one's going to believe.
He had,
Mm.
but he had the perfect opportunity. He like, this is a reporter for the Washington Post. This is like
right?
the one guy that could report like things and like disasters that might happen, and he might actually be able to do something about it. Although later we learned he couldn't, so I guess never mind. But
Yeah.
with a little bit more tact, he probably could have said he could have wrote an article for the Washington Post being like, maybe power plant or maybe a chemical plant should have more safety regulations. Point Pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. He could have.
See, I would like I would
bridges
like that plot
too.
better.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that plot better if he was like publicizing.
Yeah,
but you know
dude.
what? Mothman calls him so much he doesn't even have
Oh,
time to like
dude.
call his boss up about the story.
Yeah, right. Dude,
He keeps dodging his boss,
Dude.
too. So he's like, I'm not publishing anything.
it's a reverse Death Note. Like he's the guy trying to like save people by like writing about it or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a cooler.
Yeah, I think
subplot.
I kind of like this plot that we're kind of working on all of a sudden here. But you're right. Like I said, like yeah, his boss. You're right. Like boss was like instantly mad, like because his coworker's calling him like one day later, like he's going feral, and it's just like what the? It's like can't you just get another guy? Like hey, can I just take like I'm your star reporter?
He's the only reporter.
And it's the mayor of
In
Richmond.
the Washington
I'm sure we
Post.
don't need the mayor of Richmond's like opinion on anything ever. So like calm down.
Yeah.
And then we get to, I think, John is in like electronics store, and then that's where Gordon tells him about the Denver 999 will die thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. The Sync told him that? Was that the one where the Sync told him
Yeah,
that?
I think
I
so.
think so. Yeah, the Sync was telling him, don't be afraid. But also,
But also people are gonna die, and it's like okay.
99 will die on the 9. It's like, what? That doesn't make any
That's too much nines, Mothman.
And that's why-
Too
I
many
don't understand.
nines.
And that's why our totally legit copy was in German. 999.
999.
At least some of the subtitles were. We don't know why, but all of them apparently.
Right.
But the man in the drain was right, because on Flight 9, Denver something, 99 people died. Plane crash.
Mhm.
The Denver 9.
Right. they were like in a diner, right? And
Yeah.
then
That's when
they,
the
they
news.
got the news.
Yeah, but he went over
Well-
the news. He was like, ooh.
Because they had gone to the doctor, right?
Oh,
right, because
yeah.
his ear was bleeding.
His
Yeah.
ear was bleeding.
He had, like, one
And
drop
there's,
of
is it
blood.
glioblastoma?
And he was
Glioblastoma.
like, hey, you might have a big fat brain tumor like my wife. And he's like, what? So they go to the doctor and they're like, Gordon, you're fine. You know.
And he's like, nope, need second opinion right
shit,
now.
I need a second opinion, and so they go to
Get-
Denny's.
Yeah.
Alyssa, you could summarize.
So they go to
You could make a YouTube channel just summarizing plots. That's so you got a big fat brain tumor like my wife. You could just I don't know. That's so good.
I'm trying to do what Legion does. I'm trying.
You're doing better. No offense,
Thank
Legion.
you. Thank you.
You take
So
better.
they
You take
go-
more liberties. You're so
They
you're
t-
you're less professional.
Yeah, sorry. Well,
That's
yeah.
not
So
an
the
insult.
the doctor tells him you don't have moth wings in your brain, so
You don't have the symbol. No way.
Like, I can
Yeah.
imagine-
Put it under the
You-
filter, the contrast filter. I put it underneath there too.
Imagine-
You didn't see anyone.
you're just having regular hallucinations. It
John-
doesn't. Have
You're just
anything
having
to do
regular
with
ear bleeding.
John-
it. Yes.
John's
The normal kind.
John's like, can you look one more time, but look for something in the shape of a moth. Like I don't like is there anything in the shape of like just look one more time for a moth
he gets
shape.
the Sharpie out.
Yeah.
See this one.
Exactly.
Yes.
Circles
It's
it.
like,
Sorry, you can't
Gordon,
do that.
Stop shoving Q-tips in your ears so that they won't bleed. He's like, but there has to be something wrong. And his wife's like, there isn't. Will you shut up? And so they all meet up to have grand slams. And when they're asking John Keel, he's actually not really listening to the conversation. He's staring at the TV behind Gordon, and Gordon's like
he was waiting for it. Like he knew. Like he set up a fucking bomb on Flight 99. Okay, maybe not.
He does answer
He crashed the plane.
He did it.
John Klein did Denver at 9.
Oh!
It's happening.
Yeah.
We can workshop this script into something better. I think this is going to be a
Make it
legendary.
better.
This is a legendary podcast. This is where they all say it began, where we rewrote Mothman.
Exactly. But they figure out, Gordon's like, did your wife hear voices? He's like, no. And then they see the plane crash on TV, and then they turn and look at each other, and they don't say anything from across the restaurant. I do enjoy that he walks up to the TV in the diner and turns it up, and no one says anything. They're just like, yeah, go do what you want, John Klein.
You've been in this town for 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
honorary member of the Point Pleasant folk.
And it's similar to, later in the movie, he's wanting to know about the chemical plant that he thought was going to explode, and he has the bar, and he's like, turn this up, and it's just like the news report of the mayor's visit to the power plant of the governor or something, and he's like,
John Klein has bad hearing. All right, he has bad hearing. He needs after the car crash.
It's less about that, and it's more like turn up the news segment, like the most banal news segment on earth. It's like you'd get side-eyed if even you wanted to hear like the sports section of the news at a bar, let alone
turn it up right now.
John, this is the Travel Channel.
Exactly. Like, I need to know the diners, drive-ins, and dives. I need to know Guy Fieri's opinion. I need to know. Turn it up.
He was at Point Pleasant, right? He said these were good.
Can you imagine if you were sitting at the bar at the counter?
That's what I'm saying.
When he turned it up right next to your face, I'd be
Exactly.
like, do you mind? You asshole,
Like,
go home.
I know you're attractive, but it doesn't mean you can change the volume on this TV, John.
Jesus. Yeah, so that happens.
So that was
you missed the best part of that scene. is after like they get the report and they both realize that's what Gordon was talking about. He runs up to Gordon, gets 2 inches from his face, and Gordon's like, "Wow, man."
Wait.
And then the scene ends.
That's what I'm saying. There was like a
he's
few
like,
different times where he gets too close. Like it's got to be like a thematic choice, but I don't know what they were going for.
He's so close to his. Holy smokes.
Like no one in the diner gave a shit what was happening on the news, but they like treated like, I don't know, like the aliens came down. Like, wow, man. Wow.
Zoinks.
They whispered to it. So wow, man. Wow.
So that happens, and then I think maybe Gordon assumes like, well, he's telling me things, and that's good because I'm avoiding me being part of that. Like, not that he was going to get on that flight anytime soon, but he's like, I know things, but he can't really prevent them. I'd be like, I don't want to know this shit.
Right.
What are you gonna do? Run into an airport and be like, a plane's gonna crash? Like,
well,
no fucking
that's
way.
what that writer from Chicago got. Got into after a while. Yeah, which happens in not
no
too
one
long.
Listens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we get a little scene with Connie, and she kind of describes like the dreams she's been having,
right?
Because of all the weird experiences going on in town about her drowning in dark water with presents being laid around, and then a voice whispers to her, "Wake up, number 37."
I thought that was slightly naive that you didn't think like, when would I have presents? I know Christmas is coming up. Why would I? But I don't know.
Dark water.
Yeah, dark waters.
Maybe 37's my betting numbers.
Yeah. And it's, and it's like,
this.
well, I know there's a river right through town, and I know. She even says she's in an ocean, which I guess is just her misinterpreting it. But it's kind of like, you kind of, or a misdirection from the writers. Very clever.
I wonder if this will come back.
To be fair, though, if it was a river, though, well, whatever. Like, it was a river, but like, you would think, like, even if you had a vision, wouldn't you kind of know? Maybe you wouldn't, but like I feel like I'd know the difference between like a river and an ocean.
Yeah.
I sure do.
Yeah.
I know you do. Yeah, no, I just feel like there's a current, there's more of a current in like a river But
Yeah, only in her dream she was like, and I tasted fresh water.
I was bit by a saltwater crocodile.
I must have been in a rip current because it was flowing, but it was definitely the ocean.
Yeah.
They were catfish.
I saw.
They were nipping at my feet.
Carp.
They're pulling me down.
River carp, I knew it.
Yeah, there were trout jumping around, slapping me in the face. So I knew that it was a river.
She also has like a little when in her dream before it ends. She also looks up and there's like Mothman wings in the water above her.
Well, he didn't.
Angels.
It's an angel.
Dude, yeah. Why would she just? Yeah. Well, why wouldn't she
say that from now on? Every time I see a moth, I'm like, that's an angel.
It's an angel.
It's an angel.
When did they start talking about leak? Because I feel like it's somewhere around then.
It's a little later.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
like Act 2, 3-ish.
Okay.
And wasn't it just he was just doing research, right? And he just found like something about leak.
Right,
Sure,
but before then, we meet up with Gordon again because John Klein only visits 2 people in this entire
Right.
movie, and it's either
Yeah.
Connie or Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a lot of gas to do it.
And Gordon mentions that he met the Mothman. He met Indrid Cold.
Indrid Cold.
Indrid.
Yes.
Indrid Cold. Apparently, he was just hanging out outside the plant, and then then Indrid, Mr. Cold, walks up to him like he's a prostitute.
Right, yeah, he's like, he walked right up to my car door and my window and asked me. It's like, okay.
But yeah, like the Mothman figure like introduces himself as Ingrid, which is like apparently that's like a cryptid. Like I was looking at like the wiki and like
Yeah.
apparently like the other name is like the Smiling Man because every time someone meets him, he's like always like smiling like super wide,
Yeah.
more than normal. But
Yeah.
according to this is my favorite thing while researching this. According to like the wiki for the cryptid stuff, his type is alien. His first sighting was during the events of the movie, of course.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? He's been sighted in the U.S., though probably does not live there because he's an alien. That's what it says in the description. His habitat, possibly planet Lulolos with Diomedes Galaxy is the province.
Of course.
And the possible population, singular, though Ingrid Cold's species population would likely be very high because he's a moth. Whoever wrote this wiki article is hilarious.
Dude, that's great.
What is the Lalulus planet of the Diomedes Galaxy?
Diomedes? I mean, maybe Andromeda, but wait, I would have to imagine he'd still. Well, yeah, why isn't he in the Milky Way? Like, it's just another solar system. Like, come on. But yeah, because like, I did have a theory that he's like extra dimensional, which could be kind of
That's
fun.
what it feels
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Like they're just beyond time because like it just seems like they know what's going to happen in time and stuff. Oh, and well, I just said it. Like there was a little bit of a theme because didn't he say something about how you'll see Mary in time, and then
Yes.
I think he also said something about how you'll see like because then Smallcock says like we'll see in time or I'll see you in time or something like that.
Yeah.
So like kind of the extra dimensional kind of thing where it's like once you know once you can see, or I don't know, like once the Mothman like kind of has you in his grasp, like you start seeing like maybe beyond like one dimension. You start seeing like time is like everywhere or something like that, like happening all at
Yeah.
once.
All at once.
Everywhere.
All at once.
Everywhere.
I mean, yeah, and he can shapeshift and change his voice and do all that shit. Cause
And he knew everything because he could, because time doesn't matter
Yeah,
to him.
and
So
he
he
knew
could jump anywhere in any time. So he could be at the birth of I don't know anything.
Even place planting a tree, he could be
He
there.
could just be like, I'm at your tree. I'm 7 foot tall. Look at me.
yeah.
Actually, I like the theory because that means he doesn't know how to control his teleportation. He just winds up hitting
He might be
different
fucking up.
things.
Yeah.
He's still attracted to lights, instead of a
he's
moth.
just going 100 through a portal.
Yeah,
and he, like
like you know how a moth
whips into a tree.
flutters everywhere through space, looking at
Yes.
light. He flutters everywhere through time, looking at lights.
That's why he tells Gordon to wait for him because he still has things to figure out, but he ends up making him wait too long. He's like, "Ah, shit." I
Right.
forget.
Dude, yeah, he would always, he would always. This film loves to tease. They're like, "Oh my god, you're about
Yeah.
to get some answers," and then you show up, and Smallcock's like, "I didn't call you. I didn't do it.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know. That wasn't me."
But It's so funny though. Like the Mothman, like when he meets Gordon at the quarry or the plant, like he tells them like, oh, like a place this size, equator, and 300 will die, which we figure out later. But the funny thing is, like when he's telling Gordon all this information, they keep cutting back to like Gordon's reaction shots, and it looks like he's like high as fuck, just vibing. Like legit, like one of the shots is him like going like nodding, like. Like watch it over and over again. He just looks like he's high as fuck. Like whatever the Mothman's telling him just is like cool, like Bob Marley music, because he's just nodding his head and smiling. He's like,
What Gordon is? You mean
yeah, Gordon. Like when he's like listening to this prophecy of people dying, he's just like smiling.
Oh, I see what you're saying, dude. They're probably like, act like your eyes are swelled up, and he's like, hell yeah, dude.
He just smoked the bud. He's like, I got this method acting right now.
There's a word for that, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, like go back to that scene. It is the funniest like reaction shot of just him. Like looks like he smoked a blunt or two and just like vibing. It's like,
Which
tell me about the people dying by the equator. Yeah, tell me about it.
No, that's funny. I was gonna say like, cause we do find out later, but cause at one point I thought it was kind of funny because he pulls out like the newspaper clipping. He's like, see, people died, and it's like that's not really convincing because like you just read that newspaper article.
Yeah. See?
I can tell the future.
I can tell the future.
I'll tell you the winning number is once the paper comes out about it.
No, it's all published.
Oh man, so we have more steps retracing, right? Like John actually here it comes. John goes back to the site in which Gordon met up with Mothman, and he's trying to like kind of retrace where it took place. John looks over to a broken wall. And then he recalls the fucking nurse talking about the stupid fucking angels. Like the wall is shaped like how he's leaning.
He's leaning against the wall.
It's so funny because it's like it's not even like it's not a casual lean. You know, he's not like leaning his shoulder against the wall, or he's not like propping himself with his arm. He's literally like, yeah, it's like a family photo where like the family hates him, but he's trying to like, lean in to make sure he's a part of the photo. He's like he has arms wide,
and it's like a perfect wall, like hole in the wall, and it's not even a doorway in the wall.
Like he punched himself through it.
Yeah, it's not like a doorway in the wall, which would make some sense maybe. It's like the whole wall.
It's a little hole in the wall.
Yeah, it's like no, but it's like as tall as the wall too. There's like a hole in the wall taller than a doorway, but like the guy fits in it in this weird flashback perfectly.
From 2 years prior, dude.
So stupid.
If you looked at that, you wouldn't think, hey, 2 years ago, that nurse that I saw for 2 seconds was leaning just this way. You wouldn't, even if it happened in the same day, you wouldn't think
To be fair, that nurse did creepily disappear. I don't think we mentioned it.
He did.
But he did.
But he was looking through the books.
He went to go punch a hole through the wall, that's why, in his shape.
Yeah, he's like, I need to go.
He went to go Kool-Aid Man through that part of the plant.
He said, I need to go to Richmond. I need to punch a hole in this weird wall, and then I need to go back to my nursing job.
I could have looked at the nurse and then turned around and saw the wall and still wouldn't have made the connection.
It was so funny because I think what made it so funny to us is because we did remark on that nurse in that shot. Like when we were watching it, we were like,
weird.
this
He's
nurse.
very awkward.
Yeah, and then it was just the craziest thing that they called back to that shot after we
so funny.
Bro, what?
Yeah, like after we we laughed at it, and then and then there it is again. Yeah, we clowned on it. It was the way they called it back was like, wasn't that shot so great that we needed to see it again? And it's like, what?
He'll think back and be like, that man that said angels 2 years ago.
I know, like I feel like almost anybody else, hell, even like the doctor would have made more sense. Like,
I know.
Like at least a doctor or something that we may have been introduced to could have been like,
or if it was shaped in the Mothman shape, you've been seeing it everywhere. Then it would
it has to be him in the doorway,
be the nurse in the doorway going,
doing his weird awkward
Ayo.
lean.
Actually,
like the only thing that
might have been
like it was so funny because it was like a fade in like transition too to make it look like he was like the shape of the doorway.
I like what you said, but also I think that would have actually been even more hilarious. We would have laughed even harder if it was like a weird whole wall shaped thing that looked like a moth, but then that nurse fades in the center of it like angel. That would
have made it more 2000s. Like if we had like a echoing like flashback with like angels.
I mean, that's almost what happened. She
said
so
she drawed angels.
He's like, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, wait, or it would
Mr. Ness.
It would have been funny if
Ness.
like a different take, like where it would have been like what he said, like she was drawing angels, and then but then it kept going, and he says, or maybe a moth, and then it like I don't know, some spooky sting.
Yeah.
Your wife also pooped in the toilet.
Yeah, her bedpan was also very full.
Well, you need to take care of that before you get out of here.
God.
I can't even. We've lost the plot. No, okay, we got it. We got it back.
I think I remember. What, like they make it back to the motel room? That motel room seems a lot of action.
Dude, I mean,
throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
not the fun kind either.
Yeah, not the great kind. Oh yeah, because it's the motor in.
Yeah, we get a call from Indrid. I mean, I guess we get a call from Gordon, who says that Indrid's right next to him. Mr. Cold's right next to him, and then John's like, put him on the line.
Let me talk to him.
Let me talk to this brother right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he sends Connie to go check up on Gordon, and then they just have like a conversation.
Yeah, he stalls him.
Yeah, he's like, he's also recording the conversation through one of his tape players. But like, Mr. Cold starts describing all the actions that John is doing in his motel, like
chapstick.
Yeah,
that shot is hilarious.
Where's my watch? It's in the shoes underneath the bed.
Yeah, he could describe everything that's going on around him.
All right,
opens up a book.
Like, right.
That book scene was cool. I like the book scene because then I think what the sentence was pretty thematic. It was like, and on wings it comes down. But yeah,
you should have read like from 50 Shades or something. I don't know. Tell me what this page.
And then
said.
I got tied up. But like, that shot with the chapstick was hilarious.
Yeah,
chapstick.
I like how he said it.
Chapstick.
Chapstick. That used to be like the one I used to use before, like
dude, right?
Yeah.
No, it is. It's like the generic brand, like Walgreens brand.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
know.
pretty much.
That scene still creeps me out, though. The whispering and how it tells everything that's going on. And then he's like, what does he say? Like, you know the answer. Like, he's like, can I ask you a question? He's like, you already know the answer. And he's like,
right. Like, what happened to my wife? Well, actually, they're whispering it because John's all about whispering to people.
Yeah, good thing Mothman wasn't right there. Ingrid would have been like, bro.
Yeah. He's like, I want to meet you.
That's why Mothman doesn't want to meet John because he knows John just gonna get into his fucking face 2 inches above, like trying to kiss him.
Phone works,
bro. I think that's the subtle cue. That's the subplot here. Is that Mothman's actually a little too like doesn't want to get there because John would be like, I already know you're the Mothman.
He just pushes boundaries, man.
Yeah,
He's just trying to.
He would get close enough to realize. Because like,
and I'm trying to think like, what's going on while they're doing this, right? Because Gordon is the one he's talking on the phone with. So is Indrid just like standing there, like, tell him I'm here? And he's like, hey, Indrid's here. And he's
Can
like,
you tell
he is?
John I like him?
Yeah.
I want to be partners with him in Chem.
To him. And then while they're talking, Gordon's just standing there, like, what's he saying?
He has his hands crossed. Actually, he's standing awkwardly like the nurse, like waiting for the call to end or for it to come back to him.
Put him on speaker. I want to hear it. Yeah.
He goes to the other landline.
He runs to the other phone. I'm here too.
Kicks his feet up on the bed while his wife's asleep.
I can hear you, Ingrid. No, I mean, apparently Gordon never was talking.
Yeah. Connie gets over there, and he's just been asleep the whole time.
But he doesn't let her in. There's a red glow going on.
Yeah, there's red lights in his house.
There's red lights.
There's just a rave, Connie.
And
he was rolling, actually. There's a rave going on.
He says he's been asleep since 9, but he opens the door super calm and creepy and weird. There's a red light. I think Indrid is there, but he's just not letting.
Okay, I didn't actually notice the red
Is that the cops? Don't tell him I'm here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I have weed on me.
Tell Connie I'm naked. Mothman's naked.
That light, it's just my tanning bed.
Right, I guess I didn't notice that, but you're right. He did open.
It's his fish tank.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, he has RGB. Like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, he does.
But like,
he
does answer the door and he's like, "Hey, everything's fine." But like, even though like
she's like banging on the door,
right.
like,
no, I get it. But
like,
but theoretically, you're right. Yeah, he should have been like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And yeah, he opens the door, and like in every other scene, he's always like, "Oh God," but like in this one, he's just like, "Hello."
He's
Hi.
like, yeah, they like hotbox the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mr. Cold was like, dude, chill out, bro. Like, it's gonna be fine. Only 99 will die, though.
Your eyes are gonna
Yeah.
swell up, but it's so fucking good, dude.
It's so cool. That's just the weed.
Yeah, I know,
Though.
that's
just
the
not me
fucking-
blinding you, making you lose sight in one eye.
That's that fucking
Yeah.
ganja that I brought, bro. It makes you get real.
They know they're in trouble because like as soon as Connie starts banging on the door, Indrid does that screech and hangs up the phone
Right.
with John, and they're like, "Oh shit, hang up." Yeah.
I fly now.
No, that's
No,
good
I
point.
was
Back door,
asleep.
like he just zooms out.
Yeah.
No one's here. I was sleeping.
Let me speak to your wife.
Right, wait.
Yeah.
Was that before or after? No, I guess that was before his wife left him, I guess.
Yeah. Those will be before.
Yeah.
But yeah, then John takes the recording to like an audio engineer studio.
Yes.
And then they're like, "This is not human.
Right.
Whoever's speaking to
That's
you."
cool.
And like, it's
Yeah.
cool, but like the audio guys have no reaction. Wouldn't you like be like fucking freaked out if
Yeah.
you just realized the audio you're analyzing isn't
I think they
human?
probably-
It's like,
Sir,
yeah, doesn't
this
seem
is
to be human, sir.
2002. What the fuck
Well-
do you mean this is human?
Yeah, but you could probably synthesize a voice pretty easy. Microsoft Sam has been around since
It's
in the 90s.
2002. They couldn't.
But
do
synths
it.
have been around since the 80s. You could, you know what I mean?
But he's having a real time conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so funny. It's so funny though. Like yeah, like no reaction.
You're right. They
And
should
then
they
what
should have
about
had
the
a stronger.
chapstick?
Yeah, they should have been like, "Oh, yeah, that's super weird." You're right though. They had like no reaction.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, he knew everything
It's like,
that was going on and he wasn't there.
It's not human anyway.
You were talking to
So-
AI
Yeah.
that was really smart.
Yeah, they just linked them to like a bot site.
Yeah.
Oh man. So they do a little bit of research. They find about Alexander Leak. There's like a cute scene I do like here, is when he has his like trip planned out to go meet this Alexander Leak. Yeah, he asks Connie, he's like, "Am I crazy?" And then she laughs. She's like, "No," and he says, "I am crazy."
I remember that now. Or I remember that. I kind of thought the same thing. That was kind of a funny line.
Yeah, that was cute. But because like we have the Mothman Prophecies of like movie, like doing movies, they go to Alexander Leak, who lives in Chicago.
Let's go. We got another
Yes.
Chicago connection.
Because it always pops up. There's always a Chicago connection with all our movies.
I love it.
Doesn't matter. It always happens. But he travels to Chicago. Shoot, I forgot what the drive was. I think it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well,
believe.
he would be
Yeah.
near Ohio, so I mean, I can visualize it. Ohio's not that far. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he was on
Yeah, I
the
think it's a
eastern edge
4-hour
of
drive.
Ohio, so that would have been, yeah, I would say several hours, maybe 4, 5
Yeah.
to get when you're in the
Also,
city.
they call him Leak because the person who wrote the Mothman book is John Keel. It's Leak backwards.
Dude, when you said John Keel earlier, I was like, is that a reference to Leak? I should have said something.
Yes.
God damn. I would look so smart.
I got it.
But quick side note: the character who plays Alexander Leak, he actually was like a narrator for one of my favorite miniseries back when ABC used to do like their miniseries. He was like a narrator for Arabian Nights, which I love that
Oh,
that
no
series
way.
so much.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
he looks
that was
familiar
like
to
an
me,
early
too.
2000s miniseries as well.
He looks like he could be Vladimir Zelensky's dad.
He looked hella familiar. I just
Yeah,
didn't
I
where
don't know
he's
where I know him from.
You should see his IMDb. It's like a younger photo of him. He looks like such a Chad. like he got all the ladies, dude.
from. Dang.
Yeah. So they kind of discuss like the Mothman a little bit, right? That they
Well-
believe to be he's a form of psyche, or he's like a soul
Well,
trapped in hell.
That wasn't their first meeting. The first meeting, the first meeting he actually did fly, right? And then he almost wanted nothing to do with them. But then they had to
Yeah,
meet.
he wouldn't talk to him.
Yeah, this is
but
that
no,
time.
they still talked about it though.
What?
They still talked about. it a
Sure.
little
Okay.
bit.
Okay. Yeah, they
'Cause
talk
he
more
comes
in
back
depth
twice.
later. But okay, I
Yeah.
just
He comes back twice.
yeah.
But yeah, like they mentioned Mothman is like either like a trapped soul from hell, or is that he's like a form of like psyche, like
Yeah.
representation.
There-
That he's like it's like a Ukraine word, right? Like that's
That's
like
what,
the
that's what made me think about
translation
Zelensky.
was a Mothman, right?
Yeah.
And then he's always seen before tragedies, right?
Yes.
Like he was there at Chernobyl, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and people saw him, and then he was at the Galveston hurricane, what's it called, the hurricane that happened in Texas that killed like 8K people, 8,000 people.
Yeah.
It's so funny though. Like they mention like he's been throughout history, and then they're like, oh, there's like cave paintings of him.
Yes.
And I know they mean probably like early Rome or Egypt, but I like to imagine that he goes up to like a caveman and he's like, Gorlak's gonna die tomorrow, and the caveman's like, what the fuck?
Zug, zug.
That's the only two people
No,
I know.
I think he was talking about cave paintings like that, or at least like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like that is funny. No, that's
just like he doesn't know English, but he just tells him, "Oh, Gorlak's gonna die tomorrow," and he's like,
so like in the 1800s when phones were invented, like Mothman was like, hell yes. Alexander Graham Bell was he a Mothman?
Perfect. He told him about the phone.
Dude, he's like, Alexander,
make my
invent
life
this shit,
easier.
please. Let's go. Ahoy, oi. No, we need to say hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I do know that. Yeah, I did write down what he described it, a soul trapped in hellish death realms or something. I guess I don't know what that means, but yeah,
sounds like the beginning of an Elden Ring boss,
dude, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But like, I guess that, I mean, I don't know if it explains anything, but like, I did kind of like that touch. Like, I mean, some lore, and like, I guess, like, I don't think that was. In my opinion, yeah, that's like a good explanation, and it's probably not what it is. I mean, at least according to the lore of the movie, but like, it does explain it to some degree. It might still be like an extra dimensional being, but I don't know, a soul trapped in a hellish death realm. I think that's a good description either way, even if it's not completely like accurate. I like it.
What's it called? They also mentioned that like the Mothman actually comes to people through their trauma. So like,
Oh, right.
I guess if you didn't have traumatic events happen to you, then he like mentions it like you only can perceive him if you've been like through a traumatic event, like because most people wouldn't notice him. Yeah, which a lot of horror movies do. Like I think me and Aqua talked about it after watching Smile, but a lot of horror movies will have trauma as their metaphor.
Sure.
Like they do it all the time. Like the monster is like a metaphor for trauma in your life.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just watched Nosferatu. It's the same thing.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Yeah.
because monsters apparently
They gotta
not,
stop
right?
doing that shit.
Fear, guilt, grief, anger.
They gotta stop
all
doing that,
shit.
man.
Yeah.
To wait,
They keep using trauma
real
all the
monster.
time.
Is what's inside.
hell is empty. Hell is empty, and all the demons are here.
Hell is, and all the Mothmen are here.
Yes.
I do know. Did we miss did we miss the part where we interviewed the kids who were in the car? I guess that wasn't that important, or is that coming up?
It was part of the first like investigation.
Yeah.
And, they go over the reports.
Yeah, we kind of went over it too
we kinda
because we were
skipped over
talking
that,
about
yeah.
how confined spaces and sex are just do not mix with this mob
Yeah.
man.
If you guys have ever done it in a car, it's a pain in the ass.
And I once got busy in a Burger King
yeah,
bathroom.
apparently.
you guys ever done it in a car?
Me in a car? No.
Yeah, I mean no, but it's gotten close.
What?
Nah, 'cause
We just
if
move
we were
inside
parked
eventually.
Somewhere, if we were parked somewhere, it was probably by the beach, and that was just better.
Yeah.
Good drink.
You ever like that song "Casual" by Chapel Roan, knee deep in the passenger seat?
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Never?
And your best friends, right? Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I listen to that song all the time, actually, because I listen to that album. Right?
Yeah, the kids, Ebony and Amara, they call me a retired slut. They go, every time I play that song, they're like, oh, retired slut reminisces on old times.
What's your 401k look like? Have you ever had sex on the beach while having a sex on the beach?
I don't think I've ever had sex on the beach. Seems like it would get really
You're missing
sandy.
out.
But have you drank sex on a
Yeah,
beach?
you don't actually do it on the sound.
So yeah. I mean, I just saying that that's a lifelong dream. Drinking sex on a beach while having sex on a beach sounds fun. I sure never
Bucket
have.
list.
Bucket list.
Also, listen to Chaperone, the album "Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess." That's
Hell
where the
yeah.
song
I got-
Alyssa's talking about.
Yes, sorry, yeah. I bought Amara the vinyl for Christmas.
really?
Yeah, because we have a record player, and it's sick. We love it.
It's a pretty unknown
so
artist.
cool.
Not many people know about this album. It's
Yeah,
very
it's very
underground.
low-key,
It's very low
you
key.
know.
So we get to like I guess a tree lighting ceremony or whatever. We find out that Gordon has been fired from his job because he just didn't show up one day, and now he's divorced. Yeah. So his whole life falling apart.
Divorced dad energy.
He's listening to Nickelback now, but we find them on the bridge, and he's kind of just like, I guess he's pretty calm. I guess he's just like, it's all gonna be all right, you know.
I know things. It's okay.
Yeah, well, because he's like staring at the power plant, and he's like, something bad's gonna happen.
Well, it seems like anyone that became obsessed with Mothman, that's exactly what happens. Like even Mr. Leak, he talks about how his wife left, his kids won't talk to him, he got fired, like he's like ostracized.
And then he wrote a country album.
Yeah, then he wrote a country album because he keeps obsessing about the Mothman. I like how, like, I forget which scene it is, but he's talking to him and he's just like, you know, why, you know, if he knows this stuff, then why isn't he telling us how to prevent it? He's like, we're not allowed to know. Like very matter of factly. It's like,
well, that was kind of a weird.
Like, okay, but
that was a weird last line. I did like when his metaphor about like that window cleaner knows that there's a car accident, you know, blocks away, but it doesn't make him smarter than us, which definitely which I think definitely lends support to the theory of extra dimension, right? Like, you know, like the Mothman, Indrid is kind of just he has a higher elevation above time, so he knows when things are going to happen. Now, I guess he doesn't really know what to do with that information. He's kind of bad at it.
he just tells people.
He's just like,
the
I'm
day
just going to loosely reference something that's about to happen, and it's like, thanks, dude.
He's like, well, I'm not going to tell the president or the Department of Defense.
Tell you that many details, but I'll just tell you a little something that might kind of happen.
Like, hey, maybe instead of telling me, you could tell that pilot that was about to fly that fucking plane, or you know, maybe
no, but he didn't have enough trauma. Traumatized enough for me to talk to him.
Yeah, he had no trauma.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't marked.
He wasn't marked. Anyway, after that, we never see Gordon again because he's dead the next day.
Yeah,
I mean. He goes out to wait for Indrid Cold out in the cold with no jacket. He's like, no. He said he would be back, but there's no reason why he couldn't, you know, have a campfire or wait inside.
Yeah. Then last time we met him inside his house, so why wouldn't he just wait inside his house?
I know.
Indrid hypothermia.
Smoking up.
Yes.
But like another weird time thing lending itself to the extra dimensional stuff is that when the cops arrive, and of course when John arrives, like the police say, or Connie says, like, oh, it looks like he's been there like dead 8 hours. And then John says, like, well, that's impossible because he just called me an hour ago, and that's how I'm here.
She almost had to drag that out of him. She's like, how long ago did he call you? And he's like,
and he's like, I don't have time for this.
She's like, God damn it, I hate this.
But then she's like, John, and he's like, yeah, an hour ago.
And then she's like, enough of your bullshit, and then she walks off.
Then she's like, I don't believe it, and it's like, okay, lady,
check my call log.
Like, why'd you ask?
Why'd you ask first? Who asked? Or wait, you asked, I should say. And also, like, she's been this far with him this whole time, and all of a sudden she's like, I can't listen to this anymore. It's like, bro, you could have said that to him like the night he showed up that one night, and you didn't need to like take him to a hotel and like.
But what do you think, I'm lying, you asshole?
Yeah, like, right. It's like, oh yeah, and this guy that like I've been friendly with, well, I mean after the initial night, but like this guy we've been friendly with like is dead, but you're like mad at me?
Yeah, he called me an hour ago. I drove right over, and now look, and now he's dead. Like, what more do you want? Why else would I show up randomly? I talked to him an hour ago. Yeah,
that's the other thing. It's like
I don't want to hear the answers.
I don't understand.
It's
like I did find him. Like you didn't find him, fucking lady. You didn't know what was going on.
Did you close his eyelids? I don't think so. I touched.
Were you 2 inches away from his face?
Yeah,
because I was.
Did you kiss him passionately and say "Good night, sweet prince"? No.
Rest well, sweet prince.
Yes.
Your time is done. What's it called? Yeah, so, Gordon's dead, although he seemed pretty peaceful
he was
about
like,
his death, because he's telling John not to worry, you'll be okay, and all that.
Yeah.
So I guess like Mothman gives a heads up on who the survivors are at least.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, sucks for those 36 other people, but okay.
Yeah. That's okay. Maybe the dog knew that he was gonna be all right though.
Yeah.
With
That's all Alyssa cares
the
about.
passengers of the plane.
Yeah.
This is why she picked this movie, because there's no animal deaths.
You're right. I was all, whew.
So they head back to the police station, and like John goes to get coffee real quick. By the way, coffee 75 cents.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
But then we get a shot of like Mary in the street, but John doesn't see her. Only the audience kind of sees her pass by the camera. And then when he actually goes into the station, Connie's like, "Oh, there was a woman with red hair and green eyes looking for you. She's very pretty."
Well,
and then Vietnam flashbacks with John.
Ah,
right,
my wife.
right before that scene, he got like burned because his kettle boiled because someone called him or whatever, because he was on the fucking phone again, and and like he slammed like a door, and the mirror had, there's a face in the mirror.
There's a Mothman.
Is it Mothman? Okay, I didn't know if it
there.
was Mothman or if it was Mary, but I guess either way, creepy. I thought that it was a decent little touch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mirrors, it's kind of
So-
cliche a little bit, but I don't know. It was all right.
Yeah. So yeah, she passes by and like asks like how John is doing. So I guess she was lying when we were saying we'll see each other again, because he actually does not see her that
Yeah.
whole scene,
I know.
despite a couple of people seeing her.
And wouldn't you, as Connie, be asking more questions when she said, "Tell him I'm sorry I ruined everything.
Right.
Is he happy?" I'd be like, "Who are you?
And
What's
also,
your name?"
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
like,
keep an eye
bitch.
on her while she walks away.
Yeah.
He's like, what direction? She's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, you could have probably at least paid like
Yeah.
like 2 more seconds of attention to see like what
I would
direction
not
she went.
take my eyes off
Right.
of her. I'd be like, "Sign your name
Yeah,
here. Can I take a picture of you?" Something.
You're so pretty. I just
Yeah,
need
well,
more
of course,
pictures
yeah.
of you
Yes.
I was
for
gonna
John. He needs to fill out his album.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we need a few more. We need some variety.
And she refuses to. She sees the picture of her and refuses to say
Yeah.
that's her.
She brought it up, and then
Yeah,
she's
she's
like, then she looks at it. She's like, yeah, and then he's like, oh my god. Then he's like, and she's like, no, maybe not.
I mean,
Looks
I'll
like Deborah
admit there's some
Messing, could be.
similarities. Bitch, it was her.
Bitch.
Yeah.
I think that was Karen Gilligan.
Yeah. It's just so crazy that she was just refusing, because she knows obviously it's crazy, but it's like, well, what else would it be?
Yeah,
You know?
like why was she at? Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's just someone who looked really a lot like my wife, but also she was asking about everything about me.
Like, come on.
Come on, man.
And Gordon has his freak out, which means he must go for another 4-hour drive. And he drives back to Chicago
Time to fill her up.
to talk to
Bruh.
Alex again.
Yep.
Bro,
This
like,
guy's everywhere.
you know what? He never got into an accident, so I'm assuming like however many miles he's doing,
He
he's
got
like a
that
safe
window
driver.
replaced and kept on driving just
driver.
fine.
I did. I did kind of start losing track. I'm like, wait a minute, and then now he's back. Where, in D.C. or in Ohio? What the hell's going on?
But yeah, that's where Alyssa Lyons comes in. Alexander's like, yeah, I lost my wife and my family, my kids don't talk to me anymore, and like no one listens. Like, so I just found it like just to like shut it out, right, and like not pay attention to it. And then John's like, oh, but don't you need to know? And then that's where like we're not allowed
Yeah,
to
we're
know
allowed to
comes
know.
in that line.
You're not allowed
And
to know.
it's a good like reflection for John, right? Because like he could potentially become this guy who's just super like shelled in and disassociated from the rest of society because he's obsessed with the
Nobody
the
loves
Mothman
me
thing.
because I have a hobby.
He becomes a dead wife guy.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, and then he makes a 6-hour drive back.
Bro, I don't know
Okay,
how.
time to get back
dude,
in.
Dude, and wasn't he like falling asleep on the way there?
He
And then he's just going
Yeah.
back.
He has a Tesla, doesn't he?
Bro,
He
yeah,
must-
he's got a
How does he
self-drive.
not have screaming hemorrhoids by now?
Yeah.
Like, what?
No, he's got his Cybertruck.
It's,
It's got self-driving, full
It's
self-auto.
okay. He had 1 cup of 75-cent coffee. He
Oh,
did
right.
okay.
That's what it was.
It's Virginia's strongest fucking
Dude.
coffee. They call it the Mothman.
It's
Brew.
fucking jet fuel.
Yeah, no, it's we call it the
But what's
the
it
small
called?
cock special.
John gets into a rage baby, starts throwing his phone around because he keeps hearing it ring and all that. And then after it's broken, it rings again. So he decides that it's time to pick it up this time.
I should probably answer.
And then that's where Mothman's like, oh, the tragedy on the River Ohio, right? Which
Yes.
John thinks it's the chemical plant that he's that the Mothman's talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put in my notes, he gets into his Pepe Sylvia arc because he
Yes.
starts like
Bro.
Yes.
he's trying to put like two and two together all the time and all that.
Mm-hmm.
No, and he's convinced. He's like, well, the chemical plant's blowing up right now, basically. He's like 100% certain.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's wrong.
But
But it's not that.
yeah, it's not that. Even tries to like. Wait, am I seeing
Well,
something?
okay, the thing is that I think the governor, now I can't remember if it was governor or mayor, but like, I think, no.
I think it's the mayor.
either way.
Yeah, I think it's still the mayor.
The
The mayor he was
Yeah.
going to go interview originally is now coming
Yes.
to the power plant. So that's what
Yes,
makes
and
him.
he's like, shut it down.
Well, that makes him think he's like, I was meant to be here. I was meant to warn him. Because,
I'm supposed to be here.
yeah, and he's like, well, and that convinces him further. He's just like, it's of course going to be the power plant. When he's there, it's going to explode. Which, can we be honest? If a politician's there, let it explode.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's supposed to explode.
Yeah, maybe the politician's supposed to be Minecrafted. We're spoiling it so much. I can't remember exactly what all happens, but he gets he's like, he's like, don't go in, and the guy's like, the mayor's like, I'm gonna go in anyway, and then he got into his car and he's like, get me his get me Mr. What's his face, I can't remember his name now, and so like I feel like John got like fired, but like I guess we never resolved that.
Yeah.
we never know if he loses his reporting job. But then what's it called? While he's like looking at the TV as he always does and waits for it to turn up, like he receives a message from the hotel like, Mary will call Georgetown Friday noon, which Georgetown was where the house they bought was. Mm-hmm. So he kind of just stays there for like a period of time, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's waiting for like a phone call from his dead wife, right?
Because he's a dead wife
that's
guy.
where
Yeah.
he's a very dead wife guy. The only thing's missing is like her in white sheets and white clothing, like laughing and smiling underneath them.
There's a TikTok, or what was it? There's like a YouTuber TikTok where it's like, guys, wouldn't I make the perfect dead wife from a movie where I'm just lying in a bed laughing? I don't know. I gotta find that. I'm gonna try to find it for the show notes.
So it's been like a few weeks, I think, and then Connie calls him and's like, you shouldn't be alone for Christmas Eve, or was it Christmas Day or something like that?
Something like that.
Well,
and she's even like, yeah, I booked you a flight to come down because, you shouldn't be by yourself. And he's like, no, I gotta wait for this call, guys.
Well, here's the weird thing. She never knew any of this, right? But like, it's 10 to noon, and she called, or like, and she's like, and the first thing she says is, hey, I thought maybe we'd chat for 10 to 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't know. I don't think she knew that call was supposed to be coming. Did she?
And then he says, can I call you back? And she said no.
Yeah, and then she's very adamant that she doesn't. But she still lets him go right before noon. So she didn't know, and then she knew, and then she didn't know again. Because I'm just saying, the hotel knew, but I don't know how she would have known to call him for 10 to 15 minutes, and then she didn't even follow through. So
unless she left the note to trick him.
Oh my god. She's like, he's got to save me from the river tomorrow. He has to come back.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Yeah, that's why she buys the flight, to save her own life.
Right? Dude, that's just it. Yeah.
Might as well play to save her own life.
Wait a minute. Yeah, Connie, I think might be
save her own life.
I think Connie, she does have a husband. It's Indrid Cold. Oh wait, Indrid Cold.
I actually like this dialogue because it's like, oh, I need to like warn people, like I'm obsessed with this, and she's like, people are gonna die, like you, me, your loved ones, we're gonna die, and nothing the man on the phone says will ever change that. Like it'll just keep happening. Bad shit just happens to everybody, right? Yeah,
I'm not gonna die.
So I thought that was like. I thought that was like a cool, like, just, I don't know, reality check, and like, basically get over your dead wife. You know.
I did like that. It was comforting, and it almost felt like a mothering thing. Like, hey, no matter what happens, things are always going to happen. It's out of your control. And then he breaks down finally. He's like, I just miss her. And she's like, of course you do. And it's okay. But you don't have to be alone. I really did like that. That was really well done. But he's still debating on taking that fucking phone call. Because, I mean, even if he does answer, and I hate this part because I really do want to hear what she would have had to say. Like, what was it? But he doesn't. He doesn't answer the phone.
You can't marry again.
Oh,
Never.
I'm starting to put something together. Well, because I had this weird thing. So so the Mothman entered. I keep saying that, and but this is serious, I swear. But like, when he did that, and then when she woke up with a start, and like was like in the middle of, but we talked about it just now, where she like seemed like she was in the middle of something when she woke up. Was that Indrid taking her like to different places, like walking into the hotel, like through time, you know what I mean, and like dimensions, you know what I mean, and then also like the phone call that apparently never happened, but that still would have been her, like before she died or whatever.
It's just like, we're gonna meet at the house, right?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Right, John?
Right, I don't really know where that's going. I'm just saying.
We're still meeting at the house, right, tonight?
Yeah, it's just like, I guess that's just my crackpot theory. Because I think I had some inklings of that too, where it's like, she was definitely kind of there to some degree, like when Connie saw her and when we saw her,
Mm-hmm.
So, but like, yeah, and I'm just thinking like maybe like there was like some extra dimensional. I mean, maybe it doesn't.
They're making the plot way cooler.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even saying there's like a sci-fi plot to it, but I'm just saying like, yeah, but
because she says, "Sorry, I ruined everything." So like, if he had taken the phone call and she had said that, it's because the bridge had collapsed and Connie died, but it didn't happen in the right time.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the other thing. It's like maybe Mothman like arranged all this so he'd be there in Pleasant Point. To save her at least, number 37. Like maybe the Mothman has some benevolence in him. Maybe he thought he knew something was happening, and he says, "Well, you know what? The only path forward I can see is to draw this guy to Point Pleasant, and he can at least save that lady."
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because if he answered the phone, obviously he wouldn't have gotten on the plane and been able to save Connie.
Yeah.
But if the Mothman is telling him about things in order to give him, a chance to prevent it, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
He knew that John Klein wouldn't answer the phone. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Dude, this Twilight Zone version you guys are making is way better than the actual movie.
That's what I'm saying. We're workshopping this script. Like, somebody hire us.
So it's so funny. We talk more about what could have happened with the movie than what actually went down in the movie.
Okay.
But, it's up for interpretation. It's art, Legion.
Okay, we're gonna completely rewrite the script. I will say though, I do have a hard line. We keep the nurse scene and the wall flashback scene.
That is mandatory.
Yeah, but everything else can go.
Yeah.
But I want cuts to Gordon just vibing.
Oh yeah, and the
like,
stone
just
face.
Cuts to him.
But we can put that anywhere. We don't even need that to be a Mothman conversation. We just cut to that randomly. He's just like,
yeah.
Yeah, like John's driving down the highway, like listening to some talk show radio, and Gordon's in the side in the passenger seat going. So John again, he makes a 6-hour drive.
Dude, who knows?
Because he's in DC, he's in Georgetown in the house they bought, and he has to drive all the way back because he doesn't take the plane.
Yeah, and he doesn't get. I don't think he gets he doesn't no clip back to Point Pleasant.
Why
this time.
doesn't he get on the plane? He got a flight booked.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, what the fuck?
It's so funny.
Yeah,
because like the whole like the climactic end in the bridge.
Right.
He drives up to the bridge and there's traffic, so he drove all the way back.
Okay, my head.
Dude, hire him if you have a road trip. Hire John Klein to drive you everywhere. The guy will get you there fast. And
there was a montage of him driving, wasn't there?
Stop.
I would just have said that that's a rental. But holy shit, there was like a whole montage of him driving again, wasn't there?
That's what I thought. I thought he ran out the door because she was like, if you leave right now, you'll make it. I thought that he runs and he does make the flight, and then that's the rental car going on the bridge to get to the rest.
Let's just say that, just for my sanity.
Yeah, because there's no fucking way he would have made it.
It's so funny, like, some of those shots, like, of the road, and, like, those B-roll shots, like, the car's, like, swerving in between lanes, so I don't know who the stunt guy was to get all the footage
so
was,
funny.
but he was crazy.
And you're right,
going
though,
down the
because
highway.
it was nightfall. It was already dark by the time he made it, and that would have been probably him driving. Because that's not a long flight. That's probably like a 1 hour flight.
There's
you'd be in.
way.
Yeah,
Did he
it's
have
like 1, maybe 2 at the most.
Fuel cans in the back seats with hoses, and he just like never stops. He's just constantly...
Dude, yeah, he's got like a he calls like roadside service to have him like fill him up while he's still driving.
He does like a Fast and Furious, and he like hitches his car to like a semi, and it pulls him like part of the way.
Like a pit stop. He's got like a pit stop crew.
Jesus.
Go, Mr. Klein, find her.
Why?
Dude.
I'm gonna Mothman this so hard.
Dude, so much driving. Yeah, like what the fuck, dude? And
yeah. Then there's no 80s synth wave.
Bro,
so
that would have been so much better. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, Night Call just plays.
Dude, that would... Oh, my God.
He drives in total silence.
Okay, Legion's in charge.
Puts like a cigarette or a toothpick in his mouth.
Legion's got the music direction. We got... I'll write the script. Alyssa does cinematography. I guess that's probably backwards, but whatever. It's cool. Now, listen.
Yeah, so he...
Yeah, let me do dialogue.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say dialogue.
So yeah, he drives back. He's stopped because there's traffic on the bridge.
This makes no sense. Also,
the guy he talks to about it, he's like, "Oh, the traffic lights aren't working," and then
so wouldn't
we
you
get
just
like
keep driving?
Bro,
off
just treat it like a stop sign. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And then, it's so funny, right? Like he goes to the bridge, and then he has the realization that it was never about the factory. It was about the bridge, right? The tragedy on the River Ohio. Right. And then we get like a what's it called? Final destination, like zoom in shot. Like it zooms into the plant and it zooms all the way back out into the bridge, and then it shows like his reaction. He's like, oh.
I mean, I will say that the traffic light imagery is kind of reminiscent, a good like foreshadowing or callback a little bit to like, you know, the red lights, like you were saying with the color theory and whatnot. I mean, that's decent, I guess. I kind of wish they were a little more creative. It could have been like, ooh, I don't know, yeah, something like a tipped over semi or something would have been better, right? Like that's like blocking the bridge.
Forward.
Yeah, exactly.
The first car that was blocking everyone and trapping them on the bridge, all it had to do was move forward and keep going, and then everybody could have driven.
And it looked like it had been going on for a while. What you do is you get a policeman in there to start directing traffic. It takes... I know that. I think a citizen could do it, and I honestly, it wouldn't even be that hard. You just have people just waving through.
Right. I mean, they all know each other.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it'd have been really weird
if Jim was like, okay, we're going this way, guys.
Yeah, okay, go straight. The only direction you can go.
I don't go straight. I go forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think around that time that this movie takes place, or at least in the Mothman story.
It's 2000.
Like the town,
4 or 3, I guess.
Like I think that town only had like a population of 3,000, so there wouldn't be that much people.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's about that's
in one spot.
It's about the size of my city, and I mean, yeah, that would never happen. Then the rush hour is not like that. But I guess we don't have any bridges.
The people that we see that do perish are the ones that are like marked in the eye, like the little boy, the teenage guy who's banging his girlfriend in the car, and everybody just starts getting annihilated, you know, before even falling into the river when the bridge collapses.
Yeah, the bridge is breaking down. Like, some cables fall on people, and the bridge starts like cracking. And
people
one of my
are
favorite
getting out of their fucking cars.
Dude, it was
people
such a stupid
aren't getting out of their
sequence.
cars. And then when the bridge is cracking, like people are like falling in, and then we get a couple of almost Wilhelm screams.
Yeah.
And then we get like a few like female Wilhelm screams of just like the generic like stock screaming.
Yes.
In the background.
Stupid.
I mean,
and they're like, there's people running around going, "Get out!" And they're like, "What?"
Yeah, no, they're like,
"What?"
We're on a
It's so funny.
bridge.
People going the long way to get out. They go like the opposite end to try to.
And
get
that
out
one
the
wire already killed a kid. Like, I'd be fucking running. Like, how did nobody see that? It's a huge ass wire. And also, there probably would have been more wires coming down at that point. I will say it was kind of a somewhat good touch that 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 kid's fiance was getting her wedding dress fitted at the same time. I thought that was kind of all right.
Yeah.
But Connie is also on the bridge, and she attempts to call for backup or some help because the bridge is collapsing, and then she gets like knocked out.
And it takes her an hour to call anything. She's like, "We're on the bridge.
Which bridge are we?
Yeah, what bridge? On this road and this road." It's like, dude, how do you not make that call in like 3 seconds? Like, you're a police person.
Yeah, then her car, like when she's knocked out, her car like slowly
tips
and
then she's like,
water. Actually, but rather nicely, actually, everyone like falls like to their death in their car, but hers kind of slides into the river. And then we get like, and then we have John trying to play superhero. He doesn't take off any of his clothes. I know it could be cold, but like the amount of weight your clothes would add, because they're all wet, would be insane.
We need to suspend our
It's so hard to swim.
The disbelief needs to be suspended.
He has his shoes still on. He has his what's it called, winter jacket on. He just jumps in and tries to
and the air pocket that lasts forever in her car.
Yeah.
I was like, because I held my breath when we were watching it to see like if I could like actually last. Like, I guess the break makes sense when he like finds the air pocket that she's in and then like unbuckles her and gets her out.
In that murky, dark water,
was she even knocked out? Like, she could have done that.
It's so funny. So she was knocked out when she was sliding in, but when he goes up to the air pocket, she's actually awake. So I guess she woke up when the car was in the water.
She had like 3 hours in air in that car. It was fine, probably. He could have saved some of the other 36.
We got a kind of like a callback to Connie's dream about drowning in dark water and there'd be presents all around, but I guess John was fast enough, and he swims really well in he has night vision goggles.
Let's just it was so bright down there. It was like yeah. Maybe the bridge had lights, but then whatever. Let's just pretend it.
Yeah, he pulls her up and and saves her, and then the shot cuts away to the bridge, and then all the cars that are in the river, all their lights make a moth.
Okay, that's cool.
All the lights, yeah. Actually, I think this one was done the best because all the cars that tipped forward have obviously their brake lights up, so it's red in the middle, and the outside cars are all white. So a little cool.
Not bad. Some of the visuals, I mean, this is not completely without merit.
We see all the presents floating in the water because it's Christmas.
But then we get to shore. I know we made a joke like, oh, what if like you were just one of the townspeople who just had a cup of coffee or 75 cents? I'm like, oh, what happened at the bridge, guys?
Oh my god!
Right.
That's crazy.
But I think John talks to one of the firefighters or one of
the same guy that talked about the recordings.
Yeah, and the same guy. Yeah. So firefighter, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Lucky to be alive.
Yeah, he's like, 36 people died. Crazy.
Foghorn Leghorn.
They knew immediately how many, apparently, like, right after it happened.
Yeah, he knows instantly, and he's, like, telling everybody. And
maybe they just counted cars, and they were like,
it's a tiny community, but he's like, could have been worse.
We called every citizen, and we confirmed that the ones that didn't pick up are the ones that died.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, 36 of them died.
It was only 36 people.
I mean, considering...
That's half the town.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, isn't that like 10% of the town or some shit?
It was mostly children. It's okay.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
But then Connie's like, awake number.
Remember Bury My Dream that I told you about?
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I mean,
and then that's just the pull-out shot. But as far as
I was gonna say, they didn't pull out in the closet or the car.
Huh?
Yeah, they never did. That's why the Mothman got them.
The Mothman coming.
As far as I know from the Silver Bridge tragedy, it was because actually you mentioned that there should have been more wires dropping down on people, Aqua, when the bridge was collapsing. Yeah. That was actually the issue with how the bridge was built, because there was no a redundant tension lines to actually keep the bridge afloat, and when the actual event happened, there was heavy traffic on it, so
there's too much weight.
I guess heavy traffic for them was 50 cars, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the suspension broke, and it's the reason why bridges aren't built like that anymore, and why if they are inspectors actually come through, because they just reference what happened.
Suspension
on the Zippers
bridges
Bridge.
kind of
Yeah.
freak me out, like a lot, because I mean, I don't know. I never feel.
I've never been on one.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like why can't we just have a nice some nice supports underneath and just let's go. We don't need to suspend anything with wires.
I hate driving on the bridge. I hate driving on the Bay Bridge every time we go to San Francisco. It freaks me the fuck out. Well, obviously because the Bay Bridge collapsed in, 89?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Earthquake.
I just do not
Mothman
like
was
it.
there.
Yeah, he was
Mothman was definitely there.
I fucking hate it. But the real Silver Bridge, when it collapsed, it actually, 46 people had died, not
Yeah.
30
So 10 more. So
Yeah.
so wake
Or
up number
36.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
wake up number 47.
can I copy your homework? Yeah, just don't make it obvious.
Also, I read that the Mothman's face appears only 6 times in the movie. It says the first time is when he flies into Mary's face. The second is at the end of the scene where John is talking with the woman who saw Indrid through the window. The camera zooms out and the scorch mark at the trees left by the Mothman has his face. The third is when the young couple describes the incident at the factory site when the Mothman moves off of the car. The fourth is the beginning of the zoom out from Mary's photograph after John had smashed the phone. Mothman's face and shape appears in Mary's pupil. I do remember that. And the fifth is when he's seen in the mirror on the door that John slams. And the sixth and final time is when the cable slams into the car windshield.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I mean those are faces. But yeah, I guess there was a few other references. But okay.
Yeah, those are his face.
Weird.
And there is a Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant that is held every single year, and we need to go. There's actually a statue of him in Point Pleasant, and I guess
Really?
it
That's
has
cool.
big old butt cheeks, and people are always taking pictures.
Oh,
They made him thick.
dude.
Yeah, they
That's
did.
so funny.
Why they have to make him so thick?
That'll have to be in the
That's so
show
funny.
notes, a link to the
Bruh.
picture.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's funny. I didn't think they wanted to.
Hear me out.
I guess celebrate it because people think it's linked to the bridge, but that's kind of cool though.
Yeah. I mean, people are invested, and hey, it brings tourists. It's creepy. It's like Bigfoot. I think it's cool. It always creeps me out all the scenes with Gordon and reading the book and all that. It was creepy, especially for its time. In 2002, it was definitely creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wasn't as many YouTube channels to watch about freaky ass things,
Yeah.
or none at all,
Scary
really.
then.
Although,
I like it.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty alright.
I guess it felt. I guess closing thoughts. It fell flat for me because I remember in the same year, 2002, right, is when 28 Days Later came out. One of my favorite zombie movies of all time.
Yes.
Resident Evil came out. Queen of the Damned came out. The Ring, the American version, came out.
Yeah.
So many other like heavy hitters from horror
Yeah.
like that hit way
You're-
harder than this
you're
movie
so
came
right.
out. Eight-Legged Freaks came out in 2002
Oh, damn.
as
Oh
well.
my god! Yeah, I remember that.
It had to compete
And
with
you're
so
right.
many
I
other
think
things
I-
that I think did like the genre a little bit better. That I,
I feel
was
like
I'm
that's a
sorry.
good point because back then I wasn't like watching all the movies all the time, but I remember. I think I watched like all those around that same time because they were just so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
those
Signs came out the same year too.
are- Signs, yeah.
I watched
and that
all
one,
these like on release too. Yeah.
I feel like Signs is on the same level as Mothman because like you don't ever really get to see the creature, and it is creepy, but it is also corny and funny too.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I don't know. I just like that's like when Shyamalan was like hitting like super
Yeah.
hard with like Sixth Sense and stuff like that. Like to me, like Signs is like a good popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Like, good mix of just whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't think-
it's the Mothman.
yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think I have much. Like I say, I thought it was. I on second watch, I think I started appreciating more what I saw. It's mid to above mid for me. So
Yeah. It's not the best movie in the world. It's definitely a childhood favorite.
yeah,
I'll
it's
always-
nostalgic.
Yeah. Next time, Stigmata.
Yeah, we'll have to decide something. Yeah,
Next time, The Substance.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're about at that time. Well, thank
Alright.
you everybody for listening. To forget we said that. Thanks for listening to this disaster. Thanks for showing up, just like Mothman.
Thanks for driving out to hear this podcast.
Drive out and hopefully you're listening on your phone or something. Hopefully you don't hear any weird electrical interference. Anyway, my name's Relytan and I'm speaking with the real vocal cords.
Yes, I'm Alyssa Riot and I'm very real.
And I'm Legion Lion at Legion Lion on Twitch. Late nights, just come and follow me. And whoever's listening, please rate the podcast because it really helps us with discoverability. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening.